So there I was, living my best college life. Sophomore year, just finished football practice, roommates all went home for the weekend. I had the whole dorm to myself. Paradise, right? I grabbed my soda, ready for some gaming. And the bottle cap wasn't on properly. The whole thing splashed all over my computer. I'm scrambling, wiping it down with a towel like a madman. And then, zap. Sparks. Electric crackle. Boom. I blacked out. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in a graveyard. Not a nice, well-maintained cemetery with flowers and benches. No, no, no. A creepy, abandoned mass grave situation. Pale moonlight. Spooky vibes. The full horror movie package. And then a voice pops up out of nowhere. Welcome to the 9 provinces continent. Host has been bound. I nearly died. I'm sitting next to a pile of graves, and some mysterious voice is talking to me. I thought it was a ghost. But no, it's a system, like from those novels I've read hundreds of. It showed me my stats. Host, Cloud Ting, mortal, 6 out of 10, strength, 5 speed, 9. So let me get this straight. I got electrocuted by soda-flavored computer juice and got transported to another world? This is the kind of thing that only happens in books and movies. How is this real? I looked down, still wearing my messy Argentina number 10 jersey. At least I came here in my own body. No waking up as some random noble family's useless young master. No surprise cheap dad I've never met. Just me, my jersey, and a whole lot of confusion. The only sad part, my parents back home must be worried sick. Their son vanished into thin air after spilling Coke on a keyboard. What a way to go. But hey, if I could come here, maybe I can go back too. Right? Right? Grumble, grumble. My stomach had other priorities. Fine. Food first. Existential crisis later. I walked along a little path for over 30 minutes, starving and exhausted. Then I spotted some firelight near a road up ahead. People. Civilization. I was about to walk up and introduce myself when, scream, 2 people dropped. Then I saw a gang of very scary-looking thugs with actual swords chasing 2 guys in official uniforms. Constables, basically the local police. I dove into the bushes so fast. The leader of the thugs was laughing like a villain straight out of a movie. You can't run. Ha. You thought you could ambush me? With your pathetic 2 3-star skills? One of the constables shouted back, Scarface. Since when did you reach 4-star warrior level, Scarface? And yep, the name checked out. This dude had a massive scar running from the top of his head all the way down past his mouth. When he smiled, it was the stuff of nightmares. Meanwhile, I'm crouching in the grass, close enough to practically touch these people, not even daring to breathe. Welcome to the 9 provinces continent, Cloud Ting. Day 1. No food, no weapons, no clue. Just a messy jersey and a prayer. Okay, so let me explain how badly things went for those constables. Their leader was a 4-star warrior. He brought 2 3-stars and a 2-star. They were hunting Scarface, a measly 3-star bandit with some 2-star goons. Should have been easy. But nope. Scarface had some lucky breakthrough in the mountains and just hit 4-star. The lead constable got cocky. Scarface caught him off guard with a sneak attack, and the other bandits dogpiled him. That scream I heard earlier? Yeah, that was him dying. Now it was just 1 2-star and 1 3-star constable left. The hunters became the hunted. One of the remaining constables snapped. I'll fight you to the death. He charged straight at Scarface with his sword. Scarface literally laughed. You? Fight me? 1 kick. The constable went flying and landed right next to my bush. Blood and chunks just pouring out of his mouth like a broken faucet. I'm from the safest country in the 21st century. I've barely seen a fist fight. And now there's a dying man spitting out bits of his own organs 2 feet from my face. I screamed. I slapped my hand over my mouth immediately, but it was too late. These guys are all warriors with superhuman hearing. Oh, someone else is here, Scarface said, probably thinking it was another ambush. Well, cover blown. I'm dead. Not even 1 day in this world, and I'm already getting murdered. What a speedrun. But survival instinct kicked in. Exhausted as I was, I bolted straight into the tall grass. Maybe I could lose them in there. Scarface took 1 look at me and saw I was just some random nobody with 0 cultivation. Not even worth his time. He sent 2 lackeys after me and went back to finishing off the 3-star constable. Hey kid, you can't run. When I catch you, I'll skin you alive and eat you raw. Great. Very motivating. I ran like my life depended on it, because it did. Back at school, I was a track star. Top 3 in the campus sprint events. I was using every last drop of energy in my body, and I still couldn't shake these two thugs. Of course I couldn't. I'm a regular human racing against 2 actual warriors. The only reason they hadn't caught me yet was because they were playing with me, like a cat batting around a mouse. Then I remembered, wait, I have a system. System. Got any way to save my life here? I'm about to die. System. Hello? I just bonded with you. Where's my welcome gift? Starter pack? Newbie experience card? Revival token? Summoning scroll? Every other novel gives the main character a beginner bonus. Are you a bootleg system? What is the point of you? This golden finger is completely useless. Am I not the main character? Heavens! Earth! Why are you doing this to me? I was screaming at the sky while running for my life. The bandits behind me were cracking up. Is this kid crazy? How amusing. All right, enough playing around. Grab him. We're wasting time. I was running blind through the grass, no direction, total panic. And somehow I looped all the way back around to the main road. And then, like the universe finally decided to throw me a bone, I heard HOFBATS. Around the bend came several horse carriages flying a flag that read, Genuine Escort Agency. Help! Help! Bandits! I screamed until my throat nearly ripped apart. The 2 bandits caught up and swung their swords at my head. I could practically see my own head flying off into the distance. This was it. Game over. Day 1. Thanks for playing. Clang. A sword rang out. A black shadow blurred past me. And just like that, both bandits who were about to chop me into pieces were suddenly missing their heads. Hee. Uncle Jean. Let me handle this, some voice had said, and before the old man next to her could even respond, she'd already drawn her sword and turned 2 bandits into 2 very short bandits. Are you okay? I was still staring at the 2 headless bandits on the ground, brain completely frozen. Then the voice registered. Oh right, someone saved me. I'm fine. You. I looked up, and my brain stopped working for a completely different reason. She was gorgeous. Like, impossibly beautiful. Face like a peach blossom, eyes like autumn water, lips naturally red without any makeup, skin whiter than snow. She was wearing a green outfit, holding a sword, looking like some kind of warrior goddess. Now look, I was a med school student before I got zapped here. There were plenty of girls on campus. I'd even had 2 girlfriends. But nothing prepared me for this. Even those beauty-filtered livestream girls cranked up to level 100 couldn't compare. You'd need an actual movie goddess to even come close. This was Chun Xiaoyu, the young lady of the Genuine Escort Agency. Only 19 years old, but already a 7-star warrior. Those 2 bandits she killed? Absolute child's play for her. Of course, I didn't know any of this at the time. All I knew was, pretty lady very strong, brain not working. By the time I snapped out of my daze, she'd already jumped back on her horse and the whole escort group was moving on. I could hear her chatting with the old man. Young miss, you're getting more impressive by the day. Give it another year, and you might catch up to this old man. Oh, Uncle Jean, I'm still nowhere near your level. Hee. As the escort group passed by me, I suddenly remembered, Itchy Y. Scarface and his gang are still up ahead. That last constable was probably dead by now. These people just saved my life. I should at least warn them. Beautiful miss. I just escaped from up ahead. There are more bandits, especially one called Scarface. He seemed really strong. Scarface? I think I've heard of him. 4-star warrior, and off they went. Once they disappeared down the road, I finally looked down at the 2 dead bandits. I wanted to follow the escort group, safety in numbers and all that. But then I noticed something weird. For tiny transparent orbs were sitting next to the bodies, and nobody else had seen them. Nobody. It was like they were invisible to everyone except. Oh, I think I understand now. The moment I touched the orbs, the system spoke up. Host, Cloud Ting, Mortal 8 tenths, Strength 2, 6 speed, 9 wait what? My stats changed. The golden orbs were strength points, and the clear ones were experience? But my speed didn't change? Hold on, I wasn't as hungry anymore either. And I actually felt stronger. Like genuinely physically stronger. I stared at my stat panel for a moment. I think I'm starting to get how this works. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I crouched down next to the dead bandits and started searching their bodies. fighting back the urge to vomit. I dug through their clothes and found a few pieces of silver. Look, I've read hundreds of novels. I know what you need to survive in a strange new world. Money, weapons, resources. I had to use everything available to me, even if available meant looted from a corpse. My pockets were emptier than my stomach. No phone. Not that a phone would help in ancient fantasy land. The silver was all I had. I grabbed a sword from next to one of the bodies, tucked the silver away, and started running. The whole looting operation took maybe a few minutes. I could still catch up to the escort group. 10 minutes of jogging down the road later, I found them. But the scene was not good. Wild blade slash. Scarface was screaming at the top of his lungs like thunder, swinging his massive sword in a terrifying arc. His eyes were pure murder. He launched himself at Qin Xiaoyu like a human hurricane, every swing of his blade carrying devastating power, wind howling around each strike. Day one in this world, and I've already almost died, gotten saved by a beautiful girl, looted corpses, and now I'm watching a boss fight. What a life. Scarface was swinging his big sword like a madman, but against Qin Xiaoyu? The guy had zero chance. He'd just barely broken through to 4-star. His power wasn't even stable yet. He was a self-taught nobody with no real techniques, and he was fighting someone 3 stars above him. That's like bringing a plastic fork to a sword fight. Qin Xiaoyu was basically just playing with him. When she finally got bored, she swung her sword, and the shockwave alone sent Scarface flying back several meters. Falling leaf sword technique. She closed the distance in a blink. Scarface panicked and threw up his big sword to block, but her sword work was like flowing water, beautiful, unpredictable, and absolutely lethal. Their weapons clashed, and the impact split open the skin between Scarface's fingers, blood dripping everywhere. But she didn't stop. Strike after strike, like autumn wind sweeping through dead leaves. Every single swing was packed with incredible skill and power. Scarface was getting pushed back. A few moves later, done. Her sword went straight through his chest. Blood poured down the blade. Scarface stared with wide eyes full of disbelief and rage, then slowly collapsed to his knees. I saw the whole thing from a distance. I didn't go closer, just watched Qin Xiaoyu calmly take a small pouch from Scarface's belt and ride off with her escort group like she'd just finished a light workout. Once they were far enough away, I crept up to check the scene. Turns out Scarface had killed that last constable shortly after I ran, but then got greedy and came back to loot the constable's bodies. And that's when he ran into Qin Xiaoyu. Karma is beautiful. Now here's the interesting part. I looked at the bodies and there were transparent orbs next to Scarface and his 2 bandits, but none next to the constables. Why? No clue. Something to figure out later. I grabbed all the orbs and checked my system panel. Host, Cloud, Ting level. Warrior 1 star, 15/20ths. Strength 10/16 speed, 5/14 skill points. 10. Wait. Warrior? I'm a warrior now? Scarface gave me a massive chunk of experience. I went from a regular mortal to an actual 1-star warrior just from picking up his drops. And I got skill points. At this rate, I'm going to get so strong so fast. I just need to lay low, stay quiet, and get rich in secret. Because think about it, if anyone finds out I have a system that lets me absorb stats from dead people, some powerful cultivator is definitely going to kidnap me and turn me into a lab rat. Low profile is the way to go. Then I searched Scarface's body. Qin Xiaoyu already took 1 pouch, but a sneaky bandit leader probably had hidden stashes, right? Even scraps of meat are still meat. And bingo, I found 2 tails of gold and a martial arts manual. It was the technique Scarface had been using, the wild blade slash. Nice. Huge haul. But then I realized a problem. My messy jersey doesn't have pockets. I'd been holding the silver from earlier in my bare hands this whole time like an idiot. Wait. I got it. I cut off Scarface's sleeves, wrapped up the silver and the manual into a bundle, then fashioned his belt into a makeshift sling bag. Genius. I am an absolute genius. Ha ha ha. Day 1 in the 9 provinces continent. Got electrocuted here, almost murdered, saved by a goddess, looted 5 bodies, became a warrior, and made myself a designer handbag out of a dead bandit's sleeves. Not bad, Cloud Ting. Not bad at all. White Moon City. Cloud come in. That's me in the waiter outfit, smiling at every customer who walks through the door. Yeah, The guy who transmigrated from the 21st century, survived bandits on day one, and looted corpses for pocket money? He's now serving tea and clearing tables. But I have my reasons. It's been a month since I arrived in this world, and I've finally figured out the basics. This place is called the Nine Provinces Continent. I'm in a small city called White Moon City, in the Qing Kingdom, Southern Cloud Province. This world is all about martial strength. Hundreds of different races, and everyone worships power. The human cultivation system has 9 major realms: warrior, war spirit, war master, war general, war king, war emperor, war ancestor, war venerable, and war saint. Each realm has 10 stars. At the top levels, people can punch mountains apart, shatter the sky, and basically become gods. Me? I'm a 1-star warrior working as a waiter. Living the dream. So why did I choose this job? Simple. It's the perfect setup. First, information. The inn is the biggest in White Moon City. Travelers from everywhere pass through here, swapping stories, sharing news, gossiping about the world. I just smile, pour their drinks, and absorb everything. It's like having a living encyclopedia walk through my door every single day. Second, and this is the real reason, the kitchen kills at least 10 demon beasts every day for food. Sometimes 20. Sure, most of them are just common grade or early first-tier beasts, so the attribute drops are tiny. But quantity, baby. Steady, reliable, daily gains. Oh right, demon beasts here are ranked from 1st tier to 9th tier, with each tier split into early, mid, and late stages. The common grade ones are basically just regular animals, not even real demon beasts. But they still drop attribute orbs for me. Every day, I find excuses to help out in the kitchen. Chop up a few red shell beasts here, butcher some black rock pigs there. Collect my little invisible attribute orbs. Nobody suspects a thing. After a long day of work, I drag myself back to my room. And I use the word room very generously. This place is barely a few square meters. There's a tiny broken bed and a wobbly wooden table, and that is it. No space for anything else. It's basically a closet that charges rent. But hey, it's the cheapest place in White Moon City. On my first day in the city, I used some of those silver pieces to buy normal clothes. Because walking around in a messy Argentina jersey was getting me stared at like I was an alien. Which, technically, I am, but they don't need to know that. As for the 2 tails of gold I found on Scarface, hidden away. I didn't even know how much money was worth in this world yet. And flashing gold around when you're a random waiter is a great way to get robbed, or worse. Keep the wealth hidden. Stay careful. No mistakes. The way of laying low is the true path. Stay alive long enough and you will get strong. That's my motto now. No rushing. No showing off. Just a humble waiter quietly collecting invisible power orbs from dead pigs in the kitchen. The greatest cultivation cheat in history, and it looks like washing dishes. I pulled up my system panel and couldn't help but grin. Host, Cloud Ting level, Warrior 3-star, 23/40ths, Strength, 58 Speed, 46 Skill Points, 5 Martial Technique. Wild Blade / 100%. 1 month ago, I was a nobody. Not even a warrior. Just some college kid in a messy jersey standing in a graveyard. And now, 3-star warrior. A genuine small-time expert. If anyone found out a regular mortal hit 3-star in 1 month, their jaws would hit the floor and keep going straight through to the other side of the planet. White Moon City isn't exactly packed with powerhouses either. The strongest person here is the city lord, Sun Chong, warrior 9-star. Then you've got the 2 big family heads, the Li family and the Wang family, both 8-star. Their elders are mostly 5 or 6-star. On paper, I'm only 3-star, but my actual strength tells a different story. My power stat is close to a 6-star warrior, and my speed is near 5-star level. In this little city, I can at least protect myself now. After a month of experimenting, I've also figured out exactly how my system works. When anything dies, humans, demon beasts, whatever, it drops transparent orbs. The stronger the creature, the better the drops. Gold orbs are strength. Cyan orbs are speed. Red orbs are skill points. And faintly glowing white orbs are experience. One important catch, though, the orbs only last 10 minutes. Then they vanish. That's why the constables who died earlier that first night had no orbs when I got to them. Too much time had passed. As for skill points, they boost martial technique mastery. I spent 30 points maxing out Wild Blade Slash to 100% proficiency. Not bad for a technique I literally stole from a dead bandit. Speaking of techniques, I learned at the end that martial arts are ranked in 4 tiers: Yellow, Mystic, Earth, and Heaven. Each tier splits into lower, middle, and upper grade. My Wild Blade Slash. Yellow tier, lower grade. The absolute bottom of the rankings. But honestly, most warriors don't even have a technique, so even the worst one puts me ahead of the crowd. Lucky me. But I've hit a wall. My leveling speed is getting slower. I'm 3-star now, and those common grade and early first-tier beasts in the kitchen barely give me anything anymore. It's like trying to level up by fighting slimes when you're already past the tutorial zone. I can also gain experience through meditation, but that speed? Painfully slow. Like watching paint dry in slow motion. Underwater. Time to change things up, maybe. The Sunset Forest? I frowned at my own suggestion. The Sunset Forest is a demon beast forest not far from White Moon City, packed with powerful creatures, but also full of treasures and opportunities. Adventurers and warriors go there all the time to hunt and explore. Going there would be a huge upgrade from chopping kitchen pigs. But it's also genuinely dangerous. And danger is not my style. Then again, I'm a 3-star warrior with stats close to a 5-star. If I stick to the outer edges and stay careful, it should be fine. Probably. Hopefully. Maybe. I'm a 3-star warrior now. My real combat power isn't worse than your average 5-star. Just stay on the outskirts, keep my eyes open, and I should be okay. But first, preparations. After thinking it through carefully, I made my decision. Sunset Forest, here I come. I jumped off my bed, grabbed my sword, and pried open the stone brick under the bed frame. Reached in and pulled out 2 gold pieces. Time to go shopping. White Moon City is a cheap place to live. 2 gold taels. A regular person could survive on that for over a year. But for warriors? 2 gold can't even buy you half a pill. The cheapest pill, the fasting pill, costs at least 20 gold. And the next one up, the chi gathering pill? That costs 1 spirit stone. 1 spirit stone equals 100 gold taels. And good luck actually exchanging gold for spirit stones at that rate. You need to throw in an extra 2 or 3 gold just to convince someone to trade. So yeah, pills were not in my budget. I spent my 2 gold on practical stuff: dried food, blood-stopping powder, insect repellent, the basics. Adventuring on a broke man's budget. Next morning, crack of dawn, I geared up and headed out to the Sunset Forest. This place is massive. It sits on the western edge of Cloud Province, stretching tens of thousands of miles along the border of the 100,000 mountains. Dozens of countries surround it and depend on its resources. People have found incredible treasures in there and skyrocketed to fame. Others walked in and never walked out. And it's not just the demon beasts. Robbery and murder between humans happen plenty too. Some entire nations have been wiped out by beast tides pouring out of this forest. Lucky for Qing Kingdom, though, we're at the tail end of the forest where the really terrifying beasts don't roam. Several generations of decent kings kept things stable and prosperous. The moment I stepped inside, drip, drip, drip. Rain. Of course. The sky went dark like someone flipped a switch, and suddenly I'm standing at the entrance of a spooky forest with black clouds overhead like the beginning of every horror movie ever. But actually, rain might be good. It masks my scent and keeps the bugs and snakes away. Silver lining. Slippery mountain paths? Not a problem for a warrior. I picked up the pace and scanned my surroundings carefully. Near the entrance, I spotted some scattered footprints. Other people had been through here recently. I followed them cautiously, staying alert. Then I noticed a quiet side path that barely anyone seemed to use. Winding and narrow, thick vegetation on both sides, mysterious vibes. Most people would probably avoid it. I went straight down it. Quiet paths mean less competition and more hidden goodies. I crept along without making a sound, eyes scanning everything. And just 5 minutes in, jackpot. 3 bright yellow flowers swaying in a thick bush. I looked closer and nearly screamed with joy. Yellow essence grass. 3 whole stalks. This is one of the main ingredients for refining chi gathering pills, and each stalk is worth 10 gold taels. 3 stalks. That's 30 gold right there. I was practically dancing. First haul of the trip, and I already hit it big. And my luck just kept rolling. Over the next half hour, I found 5 more yellow essence grass stalks and 2 jade essence fruits, another key ingredient for chi gathering pills, worth 8 gold each. That's 80 gold and herbs from 30 minutes of walking down a side path in the rain. I came in here with nothing, and now I'm carrying a small fortune in my makeshift bandit sleeve bag. Newbie luck is real. The Sunset Forest is my personal treasure garden right now, and I am not complaining. Well, luck runs out eventually. After that incredible first 30 minutes of finding herbs everywhere, the next hour gave me basically nothing. Just a few ingredients for blood-stopping powder. The treasure faucet turned off. I decided to switch directions. The rain had stopped. Sky was clearing up. Nice day for exploring, right? Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Something was moving in the grass behind me. At first it sounded like wind through leaves, but there was something off about it. The sound got closer. Closer. Something was sneaking through the bushes, creeping up on me. I swallowed hard, gripped my sword tight, and shifted back half a step. Every nerve in my body was screaming. Then it launched. A massive cyan-colored wolf the size of a small cow exploded out of the grass straight at me. Fangs out, claws extended, eyes full of hunger. This thing had already decided I was dinner. This was a cyan wolf, an early first-tier demon beast, also known as the beginner warrior killer of Sunset Forest. Covered in blue-green fur, loves hiding in tall grass to ambush people. Its claws can rip apart tigers and leopards, and its speed rivals mid-first-tier beasts. Regular 4-star warriors struggle against these things. 3-star warriors who run into one? Mostly dead. And guess who's a 3-star warrior standing right in front of one? I threw myself into the ugliest combat role of my life and barely dodged. Scrambled back to my feet, gasping for air. Who? Don't panic. Don't panic. Stay calm. Stay calm. It's just a first-tier beast. Nothing scary. Nothing scary at all. My mouth was saying brave things. My hands were shaking like leaves in a hurricane. This was my first real fight against a demon beast, and of course it had to be the one that's famous for murdering beginners. The cyan wolf missed its first pounce and spun around instantly, digging its claws into the dirt, growling low as it crept toward me again. Running was not an option. This thing was faster than me. If I turned my back, I was dead meat. Fight or die? Those were my choices. Before I could even finish thinking, it lunged again. Ryup. I dodged mostly. Its claws tore a gash across the front of my shirt. 1 inch closer, and that would have been my chest. Fine. Let's go. Wild blade slash. I charged forward and swung my sword like a storm, raining down strikes on the wolf. Blade after blade, everything I had. But here's the problem. My sword was just a regular iron blade. Even with 58 strength points, all I managed were a few shallow scratches on this thing's hide, not even close to fatal. The cyan wolf felt the sting and got angry. Its eyes went feral. It started charging wildly, claws swiping everywhere like a furry blender of death. I could only dodge between trees, fighting and retreating at the same time. Duck behind this trunk, slash, roll away, dodge another swipe. But this wasn't sustainable. A demon beast stamina versus MY stamina? Not even a contest. I was going to tire out first, and then I was going to be wolf food. There's got to be a way. Wait. I remembered something old people used to say back home. Wolves, steel bones, iron body, but a tofu waist. Their weak spot is the midsection. And a demon wolf is still a wolf, right? Maybe the same weakness applies. My little brain cooked up a plan. Hey, stupid. Come catch me. I'll give you candy. Ha! I don't know if the cyan wolf actually understood me, or if my obnoxious laughing just made it furious, but it roared and charged at full speed. Perfect. Because I'd already spotted my trap. I jumped and climbed up a tree. The wolf launched itself after me, claws gleaming, aiming straight for my skull. But I was ready. I swung wild blade slash with everything I had and smacked it right back down. No real damage, but the impact sent it crashing to the ground below. And here's the genius part. This spot. It was a dried-up ditch that had just been soaked by that rainstorm. The mud was soft and wet. And a wolf the size of a small cow falling from that height? Squelch. All 4 legs sank straight into the mud. I was right. Now, no time to think. Veins popping in my arms, every ounce of strength I had. I leaped down from the tree and brought my blade down on the wolf's waist. Crack. A clean, beautiful snap. The cyan wolf collapsed. Its back was broken. It wasn't dead yet, though. Demon beasts are tough. It stared at me with those glowing eyes, but for the first time there was fear in them instead of hunger. Its growl sounded almost nervous. I didn't waste time with a victory speech. One slash across the belly. Done. Who? Who? That almost killed me. I collapsed on the ground, gasping like a fish out of water. First ever demon beast fight, and I get the cyan wolf, the notorious beginner killer. Hard to say who was more unlucky, me or the wolf. After a few minutes of catching my breath, I collected the transparent orbs. This was the whole reason I came to Sunset Forest. Getting stronger is what matters. Host, Cloud Ting level, Warrior 3-star, 32 40ths, Strength 2, 60 Speed 6, 52 Skill Points 3, 8 Martial Technique. Wild Blade slash 100% not bad at all. The Cyan Wolf was actually stronger than Scarface, so the drops were solid. Since the Wolf's main talent was speed, the speed boost was bigger than strength. My power is now at 6-star Warrior level, and my speed jumped up nicely too. The experience was a bit less than Scarface gave me though, since I'm already 3-star now. Higher level means diminishing returns. Classic RPG mechanics. Ugh, if only I had a storage bag. I'd learned by now that the little pouch Chun Xiaoyu took from Scarface was a legendary storage bag, basically a pocket dimension that can hold anything. In all of White Moon City, only the city lord and the two big family heads own one. Where Scarface got his, who knows, but it probably helped him reach 4-star. This wolf carcass was a gold mine. Hundreds of pounds of beast meat worth at least 50 gold. The wolf skin alone was a luxury item rich people would fight over. The fangs and claws, premium crafting materials. And I had to leave most of it behind because I had no way to carry it all. I did what I could. Pulled out the fangs, cut off the claws, skinned the whole thing, and washed the hide clean. Then I wove a basket out of tree vines and stuffed everything in. Walking out of Sunset Forest looking like a fur trader who got lost on his way to market. But hey, one dead wolf, a basket full of loot, pockets full of herb money, and stats pushing towards 6-star. Not a bad day's work for a former waiter. First things first, gotta hide this loot. I found a clean stone cave nearby, stashed the vine basket inside, sprinkled insect repellent powder around it, and covered the entrance with branches. Can't be too careful. With one wolf kill under my belt, my confidence was through the roof. Time to hunt. I stayed around the same area, picking off lone demon beasts one by one. 30 minutes. Found 2 flame chickens. Took them out easy peasy. Another 30 minutes. 1 red shell beast. 1 slash. Done. Another 30 minutes. An iron armored rhino. This one was tough. Took everything I had, and I ended up luring it into that same muddy ditch. Old tricks work best. I kept it simple. Only early first-tier beasts. The attribute drops were small per kill, but it was safe and steady. No hero plays, no unnecessary risks. And the best part? My combat skills were improving fast. That first fight with the Cyan Wolf was pure panic and luck. By the end of the day, I was taking down red shell beasts in just a few moves. Practice makes perfect, even in a fantasy death forest. When the sun started setting, the forest turned golden and beautiful, like something from a painting. But I knew better. Sunset Forest at night is when the real monsters come out. I packed up everything, threw the vine basket on my back, and got out of there. I found a stone cave on a hillside, checked it was safe, sprinkled repellent powder at the entrance, and tied a string with a little bell across the opening. Makeshift alarm system. Anything comes in, I hear it. Then I pulled out my flint stones and started building a fire. Growing up in the countryside finally paying off. Plus all those survival shows I used to watch back home. Turns out binge-watching Bear Grylls knockoffs was actually useful life preparation. I took one of the cleaned flame chickens, stuffed it with herbs and spices, wrapped it in a lotus leaf, packed it in mud, and buried it in the fire to roast. While that was cooking, I checked my stats. Host, Cloud Ting level, Warrior 4-star, 21 50ths, Strength, 72 Speed, 65 Skill Points, 36 Martial Technique. Wild Blade slash 100% 4-star. In one day, I went from 3-star to 4-star just from hunting in the forest outskirts. Excellent. Coming here was definitely the right call. I looked at my basket full of materials: cyan wolf skin, wolf fangs, iron armored rhino horn, human face spider legs, black water scorpion stingers. It was like staring at a pile of gold coins wearing animal costumes. Add in today's herbs, and everything should sell for around 500 gold. I need to head back tomorrow, though. This is way too much stuff to carry around. I originally planned to stay for a few days, But keeping this many valuables in a forest full of beasts and bandits seemed like asking for trouble. Better to cash in first. Then the chicken was ready. Delicious. Crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside. The flame chicken might be the weakest demon beast in existence. Absolutely pathetic in combat. But the meat? Oh my God. Incredible. With the herbs and spices, it was the best thing I'd eaten since arriving in this world. 5 stars, would kill again. After stuffing my face, I sat down to meditate and cultivate for the night. Morning came. I checked my experience. 1 whole night of meditation gave me 1 point. From 21 to 22 out of 50. Yeah. If I relied purely on meditation, I'd be old and gray before I got anywhere. Of course, if anyone in White Moon City heard me complaining, they'd want to slap me. 1 point per day of meditation? That means reaching Warrior 9-star in just over a year. City Lord Sun Chong is over 40 years old, spent who knows how much on pills and spirit stones, and he's only at 9-star peak. And here I am whining about being too slow. Some people really don't know how good they have it. That person is me. I am that person. As a good student from the 21st century, I made sure to put out my campfire before leaving. Forest fire prevention is everyone's responsibility. Some habits die hard. I grabbed my vine basket, stepped out of the cave, and stretched. Another beautiful day full of energy. Wait. HUH, right there? On the rock wall next to the cave entrance. A blood ginseng. Just growing there like it was waiting for me. I'd walked right past it last night in the dark and completely missed it. This thing is one of the main ingredients for refining first-grade upper-tier pills. The yuan cultivation pill and the body tempering pill. Let me explain why that's a huge deal. In the 9 provinces continent, there's this super prestigious profession called pill refiner. These people can create magical pills that boost warrior strength, cure diseases, and even extend lifespans. They're ranked from level 1 to 9, same as warriors, and high-level refiners are so rare that every major power fights to recruit them. Pills are also ranked 1 through 9, each split into lower, middle, and upper grade. The price differences are insane. A first-grade lower pill like the fasting pill, 20 gold. A first-grade middle pill like the chi gathering pill, 100 gold, 1 spirit stone. A first-grade upper pill like the yuan cultivation pill or body tempering pill, 100 spirit stones. That's 10,000 gold per pill. And blood ginseng, being the key ingredient, worth 20 spirit stones by itself, 2,000 gold. And it's so rare you basically can't find it even if you have the money. I was literally drooling. When luck comes knocking, nothing can stop it. Ha ha ha. I grabbed a vine on the rock wall and climbed up like a gecko. Reached the ledge in no time, grinning so wide my face nearly split in half. I reached out to grab it, and a cold gust of wind hit me. And something in my gut said stop. They always say powerful herbs have guardian beasts nearby. What if? I froze and stared hard at the area around the blood ginseng. And then I saw it. The vine, coiled around the base of the herb, was way too thick compared to the other plants. And it was moving. Slightly. Slowly. Breathing. My heart rate tripled. That wasn't a plant. That was a snake. But here's the thing. I had the advantage. Snake-type demon beasts are basically blind. They sensed the world through their tongues. So it knew a human was approaching, but it had no idea I was standing there with my sword raised, staring directly at it. I crept closer, 1 meter away from the blood ginseng. And then whoosh. The snake exploded forward like an arrow, mouth wide open, fangs aimed at my face. But I was ready. 1 sidestep to dodge the head, and then, wild blade slash. I cut the 5-meter-long snake clean in half. It thrashed around for a second, so I chopped the head off for good measure. Now I could finally see what I'd killed, a cyan scale python, a mid-first-tier demon beast. Stronger than everything else I'd fought yesterday, and I just one-shot it. Being prepared really does make all the difference. That snake never stood a chance against a guy who was already staring at it with a sword ready. Sneak attacks only work when both sides don't know what's coming. Now then, time to collect my blood ginseng, my snake drops, and my massive grin. The cyan scale python was actually pretty terrifying when I think about it. As a mid-first-tier beast, its combat power matched a 4-star warrior. But the real danger was its talent for hiding and its venomous fangs. 1 successful sneak attack, and even a 6-star warrior could get poisoned to death. Good thing I was paranoid enough to spot it first. Otherwise, this story would have ended real quick. I picked up the orbs and checked my panel. Host, Cloud, Ting level. Warrior 4-star, 37 50ths, Strength 3, 75 Speed 4, 69 Skill Points, 1551 Martial Technique. Wild Blade slash 100% 15 skill points from 1 kill. Mid-tier beasts hit different. With the snake dead, I carefully dug out the blood ginseng. Ideally, you'd store something this precious in a jade box to prevent the medicinal properties from fading. But this was my first trip into Sunset Forest. I didn't exactly plan on finding a 2,000 gold herb. I wrapped it in the cyan wolf skin as carefully as I could. Better than nothing. I also harvested the python's venomous fangs and gallbladder. Good stuff. Then I climbed back down the rock wall. The second my feet touched the ground, "Hey kid, hand over those herbs, and this young master might spare your life." I turned around. 2 people had walked out of the trees. An old man in gray robes with a completely blank expression, and a young guy in spotless white clothes looking like some kind of elegant scholar prince. They moved so lightly it was like they were floating. The young one had sharp eyebrows, perfect features, and the most punchable smirk I'd ever seen. He was holding a folding fan, waving it around like he owned the whole forest. "Kid, I am Li Feng, young master of the Li family of White Moon City. Hand over your herbs obediently, or else." Heh. He tilted his chin up and looked at me sideways like I was dirt on his shoe. I have never wanted to slap someone with a shoe sole more in my entire life. But I wasn't stupid. I could tell Li Feng was a 4-star warrior, same level as me. The problem was the old guy behind him. 6-star warrior. Definitely a Li family elder, acting as a bodyguard. The fact that they assigned an elder to babysit this brat meant Li Feng's status in the family was no joke. And there was a reason for that. Li Feng might only be 4-star in combat, but he was a pill refiner, capable of making first-grade mid-tier pills. His master could make second-grade upper-tier pills. In a small place like White Moon City, that made Li Feng basically royalty. Which is exactly why he had this insufferable, "the world revolves around me" personality. Here's the funny thing though. Li Feng was 22 years old with terrible martial arts talent. Meanwhile, Wang Guan from the rival Wang family was a year younger and already 6-star. Just 2 days ago, they'd gotten into a street fight over a sword, and Wang Guan beat Li Feng into the ground in about 3 moves. Li Feng went home and trashed his room. Smashed everything he could find. His dad had to buy him a mid-grade weapon, a fancy longsword, just to calm him down. But Li Feng knew the humiliation wouldn't go away unless he actually got stronger. Problem was, pills weren't working because his talent was garbage. So here was his plan. Find blood ginseng, the key ingredient for body-tempering pills. His family already had all the other ingredients. Get his master to refine the pills, boost his body to 6 or 7-star level, and then go beat Wang Guan's teeth out. And guess who was standing right in front of him holding the exact herb he'd been searching for? Me. The guy with 0 background, 0 family, and 0 backup. This is fine. Everything is fine. Now I didn't know Li Feng's whole backstory, but I could read the situation perfectly. 2 people I couldn't beat. Well, fighting Li Feng was one thing, but the real problem was that 6-star elder behind him. And even if I somehow won, what then? Beat the young master, and the whole Li family comes knocking. That's how these things always go. Beat the kid, the dad shows up. Beat the dad, the grandpa shows up. It never ends. The way of laying low says, avoid making enemies whenever possible. So I put on my best fake smile. Oh my, the greatly young master. I've admired you for so long. What an incredible honor to meet you today. They say your martial arts are unmatched, and your heart is generous beyond measure. Truly, seeing you in person is even better than the legends. I was pouring it on so thick I almost made myself throw up. Every word tasted like garbage coming out of my mouth. But hey, survival first, dignity later. And Li Feng? This idiot was eating it up. His soul practically floated out of his body from happiness. All right. Since you're so honest, I won't mistreat you. 20. No, 10 gold taels. Sell me the blood ginseng. 10 gold. This blood ginseng was worth 25 spirit stones in the city. That's 2,500 gold. People would be fighting each other to buy it. And this fancy-dressed cheapskate was offering me 10 gold? Are you stupid, or am I stupid? Of course, I screamed all of this internally. On the outside, I kept smiling. My only hope was that they'd been too far away to see exactly what I dug out. Maybe I could talk my way out of this. But nope, Li Feng clearly saw the blood ginseng, and he wanted it bad. The young master, this is a bit difficult. Enough? My patience is limited. Hand it over. Now. Why yes, of course. I set down my vine basket and carefully took out the wolfskin bundle, unwrapped it slowly, and laid it flat on the ground. Blood ginseng. It really is blood ginseng. Ha ha. Li Feng snatched it up, laughing like he'd won the lottery. And that's when I made my move. The instant his focus shifted to the herb, I lunged forward and slammed my palm into his body with everything I had. If I could knock him out and grab the ginseng back, crack. A sound like shattering glass. A golden light flashed across Li Feng's body, flickered a few times, and disappeared. My palm didn't land. Some kind of golden barrier had blocked it completely. Are you kidding me? A protective talisman? Turns out Li Feng's daddy bought him a diamond talisman, a one-time use charm that blocks any attack below 6-star warrior level. Between that and a 6-star bodyguard, Papa Li had his precious son wrapped in bubble wrap. Rich people are so annoying. I tried to follow up with another strike, but Li Feng wasn't completely stupid. He jumped back several steps, clutching the blood ginseng. Young master, are you all right? The old elder rushed forward and shielded Li Feng behind him. Heh, didn't see that coming. You've got guts, kid. Li Feng's face twisted with rage. Fifth elder, stand down. He's just a 4-star. I'll handle him myself. I'm going to break every bone in his body. His eyes were practically popping out of his head. Which hand did you hit me with? The right one? Good. I'm going to slice it off piece by piece and feed it to you. Don't die too quickly now. A long sword appeared in his hand out of thin air, and the blood ginseng vanished. Wait, a storage bag? Even in this situation, I couldn't help being surprised. This brat had a storage bag too? Breeze sword technique. Li Feng shouted and charged. His sword danced like wind, blade shadows crisscrossing everywhere, forming a dense net of strikes around me. So let me recap my situation. I tried to rob a rich kid. It failed because his daddy bought him a magic shield. Now the rich kid is trying to slice me up with a fancy sword while his 6-star bodyguard watches. And my blood ginseng is gone. Smart move, Cloud Ting. Really smart. Li Feng came at me like a hurricane with that fancy sword technique. I stumbled around, barely blocking, looking like I was about to lose. Keyword, looking. This was all an act. My real stats were at 6-star warrior level. But I needed the 5th elder to think I was weak and not worth jumping in for. So I played the helpless victim, fumbling around while Li Feng thought he was dominating. Only problem, my cheap iron sword versus his magical weapon was not a fair matchup. After just a few clashes, my blade looked like someone had been chewing on it. I fought and retreated, constantly checking the 5th elder's position with the corner of my eye. Because here's the thing, since I'd already made my move, both of them had to go. If I left either one alive, the entire Li family would come hunting me down. No half measures. How dare you look away during our fight? Li Feng shouted, bringing his sword down again. Crack. My sword snapped in half. Li Feng looked smug. Big mistake. You think because the tiger doesn't roar? I'm Hello Kitty. The distance between us and the 5th elder was finally big enough. No more acting. With 69 speed, I sidestepped his next attack like it was moving in slow motion, and then full power palm strike straight to his chest. All 75 points of strength behind one hit. Li Feng's body launched backward like a cannonball. Boom. He smashed into the rock wall behind him and slid down to the ground. Face white as paper. Blood trickling from his mouth. Done. I stood there calmly, staring down at him with cold eyes. The fun and games were over. Young master. The 5th elder finally realized what happened. 1 second ago his young master was winning, had even broken my weapon, and now he was crumpled against a wall half dead? A 6-star warrior can cross a few dozen meters in seconds. But seconds was all I needed. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. My father is the Li family head. 8-star warrior. You wouldn't dare. I slit his throat before he finished the sentence. Blood everywhere. Look, I prefer laying low. I can swallow my pride. I can smile and flatter idiots. But once the decision to fight is made, no hesitation, no mercy. If I leave him alive, he tells Daddy, and Daddy brings the entire Li family to crush me. Li Feng had to die. Simple math. You killed the young master. I'll tear you to pieces." The fifth elder let out a scream so full of rage it could have set the forest on fire. His eyes were bulging, his whole body shaking, his sword trembling in his hands. He'd personally guaranteed Li Feng's safety to the family head, and now there was just a corpse on the ground. How was he going to explain this? "Today is the day you die," he launched at me, sword thrusting forward with 6-star killing intent. I raised my broken sword to block, but a broken blade against a 6-star warrior? Yeah, not great. His sword sliced right past my guard and cut open my arm. I stumbled back 2 steps, then threw the broken blade at his face. It wasn't going to hurt him, but it forced him to dodge, and in that split second, I dove for Li Feng's dropped longsword. Now I had a real weapon, a magical grade sword versus a 6-star elder. The real fight was about to begin. I don't know any sword techniques, not a single one, but with speed close to a 7-star warrior and strength to match, I didn't need fancy moves. Every swing of that magical sword cut through the air with a whistle, the blade flashing cold light. No style, no elegance, just raw power and speed smashing forward like a freight train. Simple, direct, brutal, and honestly, it was working. The longer I fought, the more comfortable the sword felt in my hand. But the fifth elder was no joke. This old man had been a 6-star warrior for years, decades of real combat experience. He knew every trick in the book. I'd land a hit, and he'd instantly counter. I'd find an opening, and he'd already be adjusting. Pure stats versus pure experience, and we were dead even. He was surprised too. He'd expected to squash me like a bug, and instead he was locked in a real fight with some random kid. But he didn't panic. Old warriors don't panic. He just kept switching tactics, probing for weaknesses, playing the long game. So we went back and forth. Slash, dodge, counter, clash. Both of us picking up fresh cuts and bruises as the minutes dragged on. Both breathing harder and harder. But here's where youth had its advantage. I was tired, sure, but I was young. The fifth elder? He was old. His stamina was fading faster than mine. After we traded palm strikes and both jumped back a few steps, I could see it in his face. He was running out of gas. Time for some psychological warfare. Huh. Hey, old man. Is that all you've got? I kept taunting him while secretly pulling out a packet of blood-stopping powder and sprinkling it on my arm wound. Weren't you just screaming about tearing me to pieces? Come on then. Come on. You're asking for death. His eyes went wild with rage. Let me show you the breeze sword technique. He launched forward, sword dancing like a storm. Fast, sharp, relentless. I gripped my sword with both hands and answered with wild blade slash, using the sword like a big, heavy cleaver. The impact smashed his sword aside, knocking it wide open. But the old man didn't flinch. He saw my center was completely exposed and drove his palm straight at my chest. Years of battle instinct. He didn't even need to think. Well, I wasn't backing down either. I threw my fist right at him. We both chose to trade blow for blow. Boom. URGH. His palm hit my chest like a sledgehammer. My entire body flew backward through the air, blood spraying from my mouth in a red mist. The pain was unreal, like every rib was screaming at once. But my fist connected too, smashed right into his shoulder. I heard the bone crack. His sword dropped to the ground. His right arm went completely limp, dangling uselessly at his side. His face turned white as he clutched the shattered shoulder, sweat pouring down his forehead. So there we were, me on the ground spitting blood, him standing with a broken arm and no weapon. Both of us wrecked. Neither of us finished. This fight wasn't over yet. The fifth elder stared at me with murder in his eyes. Broken arm and all, he picked up his sword with his left hand and started walking toward me. Step. By. Step. I dragged myself off the ground, blood still dripping, and stared right back. Huh. In the end, you're still going to die at my hands. Boy. He was grinning through the pain. Oh yeah? Don't celebrate too early. Hee hee. Inside my head I was counting. Stay calm. It should be almost time. Celebrate? What are you going to do about? URGH. His whole body seized up. His blood froze. A wave of cold shot straight to his brain. Then he vomited a mouthful of black blood and collapsed to his knees right in front of me. Pea poison. That's right, old man. See, that whole trading blow for blow thing? I wasn't being stupid or reckless. That was the plan. Way back when I was pulling out my blood-stopping powder, I'd secretly palmed the cyan scale python's venomous fang. When I deliberately left myself open and threw that punch at his shoulder, I wasn't just breaking his arm. I was stabbing the fang into his flesh. He was in too much pain and too exhausted to notice a tiny prick. By the time the poison kicked in, it was already game over. I limped over to him, checked his breathing, still alive, just knocked out from the venom. No point in waiting around for him to wake up. One sword thrust. Done. Who? Thank God I kept that trick hidden. No time to rest, though. I collected all the attribute orbs from both bodies, grabbed everything valuable, including both their weapons, loaded up my vine basket, and got out of there fast. 30 minutes later, I found a small valley and finally stopped to treat my wounds and sort through my loot. The fifth elder had a bottle of chi-gathering pills, 3 spirit stones, and his magic-grade sword. Probably kept most of his savings at home. Smart old man. Just not smart enough. And then, Li Feng's storage bag. I'd been drooling over storage bags ever since I learned what they were. Only 3 people in all of White Moon City owned one. And even if they were for sale, I couldn't afford it. But Li Feng got his from his pill refiner master. And now that Li Feng was dead, the bag had no owner. I bonded with it instantly. My storage bag now. 1 cubic meter of space. Beautiful. Inside I found the blood ginseng. Hello again, old friend, and 4 books. First, the Wind Spirit Technique. A yellow-tier upper-grade cultivation method, gifted by Li Feng's master. Cultivation techniques are ranked just like everything else. Yellow, Mystic, Earth, Heaven, each with lower, mid, and upper grades. A good technique can massively speed up training. But I took one look at it and tossed it aside. Even with this fancy method, meditation was still slower than just killing a few demon beasts. Why sit around breathing when I could be collecting orbs? Second, Breeze Sword Technique Manual. Yellow tier mid-grade. The Li family's signature sword style. Nice. Now I could actually learn proper swordsmanship. Third, the Tyrant Body Scripture. Yellow tier upper grade. A body cultivation technique. Body cultivators train their physical bodies to become basically indestructible. At high levels they can shrug off blades and spears, and their combat power can even rival war spirit realm fighters. The catch? Body cultivation is brutal. The training process is pure torture, and it requires massive resources with very little visible progress early on. Most people give up. That's why body cultivators are so rare nowadays. Li Feng had been searching for blood ginseng specifically to make body tempering pills to support his tyrant body training. He wanted to become a powerful body cultivator to beat up Wang Guan. Well, Li Feng, your dream didn't work out. But your books, your storage bag, your sword, your pills, and your blood ginseng? They're in very good hands now. The last book was called Beginner Pill Refiner's Complete Guide. Detailed instructions on first-grade pill refining techniques, illustrated descriptions of common herbs, and actual pill recipes, including formulas for chi-gathering pills, yuan cultivation pills, and body tempering pills. And of course, every pill refiner needs a furnace. I reached into the storage bag and pulled out a gorgeous bronze tripod cauldron covered in dragon and phoenix carvings, with tiny runes etched across every surface. This thing was a mid-grade magical artifact all by itself. My eyes were practically glowing. Maybe I could become a pill refiner too. The rest of the storage bag had 9 spirit stones, several bottles of pills, fasting pills, chi-gathering pills, antidote pills, and over 20 jade boxes full of herbs I couldn't even identify. Plus random daily supplies, and even a big cooking pot. Li Feng basically packed his entire life in here. I found out later that Li Feng had practically emptied his family's savings and even begged his father for 100 spirit stones just to buy that pill furnace. That's why he only had 9 stones left. But hey, his financial tragedy was my windfall. They really weren't kidding when they said murder and arson lead to gold belts. I checked my system panel. Host, Cloud Ting Warrior 5-star, 7/60ths, Strength, 83 Speed, 74 Skill Points, 75 Martial Technique. Wild Blade / 100% 5-star. Another level up. That fight was dangerous as hell, but the rewards were absolutely worth it. Then I noticed something weird. I touched my chest where the 5th Elder's palm strike had nearly caved in my ribcage. Nothing. No pain. I looked at the sword wound on my arm. Gone. Not even a scar. Half an hour ago, I was coughing up blood and barely standing. Now I felt like I'd just woken up from a spa day. System, what's going on? System. Wait. Do I fully heal every time I level up? Including all injuries? System. That is the most broken ability ever. Ha ha ha. Think about it. As long as I can collect enough orbs to level up mid-battle, I basically get a full health reset. Even if I'm losing, even if I'm half dead, one level up and I'm back to 100%. This changes everything. No wonder the system didn't give me a starter pack. It was saving the good stuff for later. I decided to camp in this valley and make use of all these resources. I sat cross-legged, flipped my hand, and pulled out a bottle of chi-gathering pills. Chi-gathering pills. Worth 1 spirit stone each. Supposedly 1 pill equals several days of meditation. I popped one in my mouth. Kind of has a nice floral taste. I was about to sit down and meditate to absorb it when, system, warrior 5-star, 960. What? 2 experience points. Instantly. No meditation needed. No sitting around for hours, refining the pill's energy. Just eat, absorb, done. It just goes straight in. No processing required. System, you absolute legend. I didn't hesitate. I dumped all 11 remaining chi-gathering pills into my mouth at once like candy. When I'm rich someday, I'm eating these things like snacks. I mumbled through a mouthful of pills, making a solemn vow to my future self. System, warrior 5-star, 29 of 60, 1 minute. 22 experience points. I was already halfway to 6-star. Killing Li Feng might have been the best financial decision of my entire life. Both lives, actually. Halfway to 6-star. But no rush. If my level isn't high enough, I'll make up for it with raw power. Sharpen the axe before chopping wood, as they say. I pulled out 2 manuals. The Breeze Sword Technique, Li Family's signature move, Yellow Tier Mid-Grade, and the Tyrant Body Scripture, Yellow Tier Upper Grade Body Cultivation. I've got 75 skill points. Not enough for both. So which one? The Breeze Sword Technique was tempting, but it was the Li Family's signature style. The moment I used it in public, anyone from the Li family would recognize it instantly. And once they found out Li Feng was dead, they'd connect the dots real fast. Then another thought hit me. Ugh, I really am an amateur at this. In my rush to escape, I hadn't destroyed the bodies or cleaned up the battlefield. Back on Earth, that'd be like leaving your DNA at a crime scene. Rookie mistake. But this is tiny White Moon City. They probably don't have any fancy tracking methods, right? I told myself, choosing to believe in optimism over logic. Tyrant Body Scripture it is then. My reasoning was solid. First, this was an upper-grade body cultivation technique. Once I mastered it, my close combat ability would skyrocket. My strength and speed were already way above my level. Add a body that's practically immune to weapons? That's not just strong, that's a cheat code. And nobody would expect it, making it the perfect hidden trump card. Second, Li Feng's storage bag had all the herbs prepared for training the first 2 levels of the Tyrant Body Scripture. Level 3 needed body tempering pills, but I couldn't refine those yet anyway. One step at a time. Can't become a fat man in one meal. Decision made. No wasting time. The valley was perfect, thick forest for cover, and a stream nearby for fresh water. Like nature built me a personal training camp. I got to work. Piled up dirt into a makeshift stove. Pulled out Li Feng's big iron pot. Thank you for packing a cooking pot, dead rich boy, and set it up on top. Then I chopped some trees with my sword and carved out a wooden bucket, placed it above the pot. Filled it with water, lit a fire. Everything flowing smoothly. As the water heated up, I opened both the Tyrant Body Scripture and the Beginner Pill Refiner's Guide side by side. Following the instructions very carefully, I started adding herbs to the bucket one by one. White jade grass, bronze flower, stone rock fruit. Each herb released its own fragrance as it dissolved into the water. I was laser-focused, barely breathing. These herbs were expensive, and I couldn't afford replacements. One wrong temperature, one herb added too early or too late, and the whole batch would be ruined. I controlled the heat carefully, watching the water change as each ingredient merged in, making sure everything matched what the book described: color, smell, consistency. Every little detail. Once all the herbs were in, the clear stream water had turned dark green, releasing a rich medicinal fragrance that filled the entire valley. Step 1. Success. It all comes down to this. Let's go. I stripped off all my clothes, took one deep breath. and jumped into the bucket. Day 2 in Sunset Forest. Killed a snake, murdered a rich kid and his bodyguard, inherited a small fortune, and now I'm sitting naked in a giant cooking pot full of magic herb soup in the middle of a mountain valley. If my college roommates could see me now. Hot, 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 hot. That was my first reaction when I jumped into the bucket. Boiling herb water is not comfortable. But hey, I'm a warrior now. I adjusted to the temperature pretty quickly. I sat cross-legged in the bucket with just my head sticking out above the water like a human soup dumpling. Then I started circulating energy according to the tyrant body scripture's instructions. 1 minute in, felt a little tingly. Like bug bites. No big deal. 2 minutes. The tingles turned into stabs. Like someone was jamming thousands of steel needles into every inch of my skin simultaneously. I gritted my teeth and started shaking. 3 minutes, my bones. It felt like every single bone in my body was being smashed to powder with a hammer and then glued back together. Over and over and over. I let out a groan I couldn't hold back. Sweat was pouring down my face in drops the size of beans. For minutes, my internal organs joined the party. It felt like millions of ants were eating my insides alive. I wanted to scream, but literally couldn't make a sound. My lungs wouldn't cooperate. 5 minutes. I was about to black out. My vision went dark. My brain was shutting down. Every cell in my body was sending emergency distress signals. I was genuinely starting to think I might die in a cooking pot full of green water in a random valley. But I held on. I don't know how. Pure stubbornness. The desperate desire to get stronger. The knowledge that if I quit now, all that pain was for nothing. My body was screaming stop, and my willpower was screaming keep going. A gentle breeze brushed my face. Soft as a mother's touch. I couldn't feel it at all. I slowly opened my eyes. 10 minutes. That's all it had been. 10 minutes. It felt like an entire century. Every second was an eternity of agony. I experienced what felt like dying and being reborn 1,000 times over in the span of a coffee break. But I made it. Tyrant body scripture, first level, complete. No wonder nobody does body cultivation anymore. Forget about affording the herbs. Even if you're rich, who would voluntarily put themselves through this? Rich people have options. Nobody with money and a brain is choosing 10 minutes of feeling like your skeleton is being used as a xylophone. Crack, crack, crack. A beautiful series of popping sounds rang out as I slowly stood up in the bucket. Every joint, every bone, every cell in my body was clicking and snapping into place, like my whole body was celebrating its own upgrade. 10 minutes of absolute hell. But I could already feel the difference. Stronger, tougher, more solid. Worth it. Ask me again when the memory of the pain fades, which might take approximately forever. My whole body felt incredible, like a dam of power had burst open inside me. And then I looked down and realized I was taller. I used to be 180 centimeters. Now I was at least 185. The tyrant body scripture literally made me grow. I pulled on my pants and looked at myself. My upper body was, wow, bronze-colored skin glowing with health. Every muscle perfectly defined. An 8-pack ABS. Not a soft 6-pack. A hard, chiseled, carved from stone 8-pack. Each muscle locked together like armor plates. If I was back on Earth with this body, the fangirls, they'd be lining up around the block. Ha! I ran my hand over my abs, feeling the rock-solid surface, grinning like an idiot. This was what the tyrant body scripture did. Turn my body into a genuine weapon. I checked my panel. Host, Cloud Ting Warrior 5-star, 29/60ths, strength, 82 speed, 76 skill points, 75 martial techniques, wild blade / 100%, tyrant body 35%. The raw numbers didn't jump dramatically, but my actual combat power felt like it had doubled. I could feel every muscle fiber, every bone, every tendon. It was like I'd been driving a car my whole life and suddenly realized I could control each wheel individually. Total body awareness and precision. Now for the fun part. System, use skill points. Tyrant body 1, 1, 1. I dumped all 75 skill points into tyrant body. Host, Cloud Ting Warrior 5-star, 29/60ths, strength, 89 speed, 80 skill points, 0 martial techniques, wild blade / 100%, tyrant body 75%. Tyrant body jumped straight to 75%. Breaking through to the second level. Copper skin, iron bones. Strength and speed both got a nice bump from the breakthrough too. Time to test this out. I took a stance and threw a punch at the air. Boom, boom, boom. A chain of sonic booms erupted like a string of firecrackers. The sound alone was deafening, like the air itself was being torn apart, just from a punch. At nothing. Then I found a centuries-old ironwood tree. This thing was dozens of meters tall, trunk as thick as a barrel, bark hard as actual steel. HYH, one punch. No spiritual energy, no techniques, just pure physical power. A massive hole exploded through the trunk like it got hit by a cannonball. Over 1,000 pounds of force from raw muscle alone. Ha ha ha. I couldn't help myself. I started laughing with pure joy. Right now, a regular 8-star warrior can't beat me. And I wasn't being arrogant. This was just math. My strength and speed were already pushing toward 8-star levels, and now my body itself was basically light armor. I'd surpassed normal 7-star warriors completely. Against ordinary 8-star fighters, I had a real shot at winning. And even if I ran into a 9-star, I might not win, but I could definitely escape. 1 month and 2 days in this world. Started as a mortal with a soda-stained jersey. Now I'm punching holes through ancient trees with my bare fists. The way of laying low is still my motto. But it sure feels nice knowing that if someone forces my hand, I can punch them through a wall. Delicious. No wonder this table cost me 10 gold. There I was, back at the Cloud Come In, sitting in front of a table absolutely loaded with food. Chicken in my left hand, duck in my right, shoving everything into my face like a competitive eater. Ever since I started training the tyrant body scripture, my appetite had gone insane. 2 bowls of spirit rice used to fill me up. Now 2 bowls barely counted as a snack. My body was converting meat into energy at ridiculous speed. I was basically a human furnace. It had been 2 days since I killed Li Feng. I'd sold all the herbs and beast materials from Sunset Forest, pulled in 11 spirit stones and 60 gold tails. Not bad for a 2-day trip. With money in my pocket, I finally upgraded my life. Rented a little house with its own courtyard, 2 gold per month. No more living in a closet. Then I came to the inn to eat like a king. After weeks of poverty and kitchen scraps, I deserved this. Then the table next to me started talking. Hey, did you hear? The Li family's young master Li Feng and the 5th elder were killed. I nearly choked on my chicken leg. But I kept my cool, acting totally casual, nibbling away while my ears locked onto their conversation like satellite dishes. Yeah, heard about it this morning. The family head sent the 2nd elder to search Sunset Forest when his son didn't come home. By the time they found the bodies, demon beasts had chewed them up so badly they were unrecognizable. They only identified them from the clothes and the 5th elder's body nearby. Good. Very good. Demon beasts cleaned up the evidence for me. Thank you, nature. Word is it was definitely murder. The Li family posted a bounty, 1,000 gold for any leads, and 100 spirit stones for whoever catches the killer and delivers them to the Li family. 100 spirit stones? That's a fortune. 100 spirit stones. I almost wanted to drag myself to the Li family and turn myself in. That's a lot of money. Could I sell myself and still somehow escape? No, Cloud Ting, bad idea. Focus. A 3rd guy chimed in. You'd need to be alive to spend it though. The 5th elder was a 6-star warrior, and the young master was 4-star. Whoever killed them both has to be at least 6 or 7-star. Any of us going after someone like that would just be delivering ourselves as free meals. Fair point. We're just talking big. Oh, by the way, the Li family has people stationed at the Sunset Forest entrance doing searches. Be careful out there. Yesterday, someone refused to cooperate with the search and got killed on the spot. I instinctively touched my chest where the storage bag was hidden under my clothes. Li Feng's storage bag, with both magical swords still sitting inside it. If anyone found that on me, I was dead. That's exactly why I hadn't dared use any of Li Feng's stuff in the city. I'd spent 20 spirit stones on a new weapon instead, a lower-grade magical sword called a black iron blade. Clean purchase, no connection to the Li family. 20 stones hurt my wallet, but it hurt less than dying. You think maybe the Wang family did it? The 2nd guy continued. The 2 big families have always hated each other. Li Feng was a pill refiner. Killing him before he grew up would make perfect sense. If Li Feng matured, the Li family would dominate the city. SHHH. Are you crazy? Don't say stuff like that. If the Li family or the Wang family hears you, you're finished. The first guy nervously looked around to make sure nobody important was listening. The conversation drifted to other gossip after that. I lost interest, downed my wine in one gulp, and left. Sunset Forest is off limits for the next few days. Better just stay home and lay low. 100 spirit stones for my own head. I'm worth more dead than alive. How flattering. My new house was perfect for shady business. 2 rooms, a little courtyard, far from the city center. Nobody would bother me here. I cleared out one of the rooms completely and set up my pill refining workshop. First thing, carbon crystals. These come from a spiritual plant called crystal wood, and pill refiners love them because they burn at a stable temperature for a long time. Now, proper pill refining usually uses special fires. Warriors at the war spirit realm can project their spiritual energy outward and create pill fire. There are also legendary spirit flames, miraculous fires born from places overflowing with elemental energy. Some can burn anything, some can heal wounds, some can boost cultivation. They're insanely rare and valuable. Me? I'm a 5-star warrior with no spirit flame, no pill fire, and definitely no money to rent a ground fire pit. Carbon crystals it is. The budget option. The instant noodles of pill refining fuel. I set up the bronze cauldron over the lit crystals and started practicing fire control. That's step 1 of pill refining. If you can't control the flame, nothing else matters. Next was warming the furnace evenly. Once the temperature stabilized, I pulled out the ingredients for the simplest pill possible, the fasting pill. Spirit rice, black beans, fire hemp seeds. In they went. Boom. Black smoke poured out of the cauldron. Failed. Obviously. First attempt. What did I expect? I cleaned out the residue and tried again. Boom. Failed. Lost control of the fire. Boom. Failed. Put the ingredients in the wrong order. Boom. Failed. Got too excited during the condensation phase and lost focus. Boom. 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 After over 10 consecutive failures, with only 2 batches of materials left, I finally produced 2 fasting pills. I held them up and stared. They were lumpy, uneven, covered in little craters. They looked like tiny, ugly potatoes. Can I actually eat these? They won't kill me, right? Well, I made them, so I had to at least try. Plus, I was starving. I'd been at this since breakfast, and the sun was already setting. Pill refining eats up time like nothing else. I picked one up, closed my eyes, and swallowed. It works. Not bad. Instant fullness. Like I'd just eaten a big meal. Success. I was officially a pill refiner. With that first success under my belt, the next 2 batches went much smoother. 2 pills from one batch, 4 from the other. For reference, 9 pills per batch is the absolute maximum. Even master refiners need luck to hit that number. Then I did some math. 20 batches of ingredients cost 1 gold. I produced 6 pills total. Pill shops buy fasting pills at 19 gold each. That's 114 gold in profit. My eyes went wide. From 1 gold of raw materials. And this was the cheapest pill. Imagine the profits from qi gathering pills or yuan cultivation pills. No wonder pill refiners are all rich. This is basically printing money. What I didn't realize was how abnormally talented I was. Normal pill refiner apprentices spend years just learning herbs and memorizing recipes before they even touch a furnace. When they finally start refining, they burn through hundreds of batches of materials before producing a single pill. Training a pill refiner costs an astronomical fortune in wasted ingredients. And here I was, successful in under 20 attempts. If any real pill refiner heard that, they'd probably cry themselves to sleep. Most of them blew through 100 batches without seeing a single spark of success. But I didn't know any of that. I just thought pill refining was pretty easy. Ignorance truly is bliss. 4 or 5 days straight, I lived the most boring routine ever. Wake up, refine pills. Lunch at Cloud, come in. Sell pills at the medicine shop, buy more ingredients. Go home, refine more pills. At night, study herb identification books. Because imagine being a pill refiner who can't recognize herbs. That would be embarrassing beyond recovery. During this time, I also tried refining 2 new pills. The antidote pill worth 50 gold each, and the Chi Boost pill worth 25 gold each. With my fasting pill experience as a foundation, I only wasted 3 batches on each before figuring them out. After that, mass production mode activated. By day 5, I was consistently getting 5 pills per successful batch. After subtracting material costs and failed batches, I'd earned over 30 spirit stones in 5 days. From pill refining alone, I was basically a money-printing machine with abs. Today followed the usual pattern: lunch at the inn, then off to my regular medicine shop, the 100 Herbs Hall. The second I walked through the door, the shop assistant practically sprinted over with hot tea and spirit fruits, fussing over me like I was royalty. I'd been coming at the same time every day, so the shopkeeper had the poor guy stationed at the entrance waiting for me. "Huh, pill refiner Cloud. Sorry to keep you waiting." The shopkeeper's cheerful voice echoed through the hall before he even appeared. Shopkeeper Bye, all smiles all the time. At least when I was around. Shopkeeper Bye, I greeted him with a polite bow. Same as usual today, pill refiner Cloud? Actually, no. Today I need 20 batches of yellow essence grass, jade essence fruit, cornus flower. His eyes went wide. Those are chi gathering pill ingredients. Could it be that pill refiner Cloud has advanced to mid-grade? Congratulations. I could practically see gold coins spinning in his eyeballs. And honestly, I understood why he was so excited. These past few days I'd been selling piles of pills and buying mountains of ingredients from his shop. His sales had skyrocketed. Plus, my pills were high quality, so warriors were lining up to buy them. Even with a 2 gold markup, the 100 Herbs Hall was making a killing in both money and reputation, all because of me. On top of that, I looked barely 20 years old. A pill refiner this young? That screamed, prodigy with a powerful background. And shopkeeper Bye hadn't survived in business this long without knowing which people you absolutely do not offend. Not quite there yet. Just going to experiment and see if I can manage it. Here are yesterday's pills. I pulled out several jade bottles from my pack. He counted everything up. 40 chi boost pills, 20 antidote pills. Total, 1,940 gold. Minus 600 gold for the chi gathering pill ingredients. Remaining, 1,425 gold. Converted to spirit stones, 14 stones and 25 gold. Please verify, pill refiner Cloud. No need to check. I trust you completely, shopkeeper Bye. I pocketed the spirit stones casually, like 14 stones was pocket change. Inside I was screaming with joy. Well then, I'll be off. Pill refiner Cloud. When you successfully refine those chi gathering pills, you must come to me first. I guarantee the best prices. The most generous terms. He was practically rubbing his hands together with anticipation. Of course. I nodded politely while backing away with a slightly awkward smile. He walked me all the way to the door and stood there watching me disappear into the crowd. Probably still standing there for all I know. 5 days ago, I was a broke waiter eating kitchen scraps. Now medicine shop owners are treating me like a VIP and fighting for my business. Money really does change how the world looks at you. Shopkeeper, he's already gone. The assistant reminded shopkeeper Bye, who was still standing at the door staring after me. I know, but his eyes were spinning with calculations. Sir, he's just a low-grade pill refiner. Decent for White Moon City, sure, but why are you treating him like he's some kind of VIP? Heh, you don't understand. Just know, don't offend this person. Ever, see? What I didn't know was that shopkeeper Bye had been watching me very closely since day one. He noticed everything. My first batch of pills. Clearly amateur work. Rough, slightly flawed. Expected from a beginner. But for someone my age, already impressive. Second batch. Dramatically better in both quality and quantity. By the final batch, the quality was genuinely excellent. 2 pills were so perfectly round and glossy they could have been displayed in a museum. The rest were all top-notch too. But what really made shopkeeper Bye's eyes pop was the math. He knew exactly how many ingredients I bought each day. Based on that, my success rate was around 50%. Most pill refiners barely manage 10 or 20%. A 50% rate from someone who'd been refining for less than a week? That wasn't just talented. That was once-in-a-generation genius territory. He'd also ruled out the possibility that someone else was making the pills for me. Every batch was clearly fresh out of the furnace, and I always carried that distinctive smell of recent pill refining. Can't fake that. Shopkeeper Bye had been in this business long enough to know. Invest in promising people early, because later you can't afford them. But I didn't know any of this. I just thought the old man really liked money. Once I was far enough from the crowds, I ducked into an empty alley, pulled out my storage bag, and stuffed all the ingredients inside. Then headed home. Same routine, as always. Light the carbon crystals. Set up the cauldron. Control the fire. Warm the furnace. After days of practice, these early steps were pure muscle memory now. Yellow essence grass, jade essence fruit, cornus flower. I murmured each name as I examined every herb carefully. After spending every evening buried in herb identification books, I'd finally reached the point where I didn't need the books anymore. I could recognize herbs by sight and smell alone. No more flipping through pages mid-refining like a student sneaking a cheat sheet during an exam. That felt good. Real progress. Real competence. Now, the big challenge. Chi gathering pills. First grade mid-tier. Way more complex than anything I'd made before. More ingredients, more steps, tighter timing. The margin for error was razor thin. I fed the herbs into the cauldron one by one, following the recipe order precisely. Just melting all the ingredients into liquid took 30 minutes. Every herb needed different temperatures and timing to dissolve properly. One wrong move, and the whole batch turns into expensive garbage. Once all the ingredients finally merged into a unified medicinal liquid, I started the hardest part, condensing the liquid into actual pill form. Deep breath, Ting. You've got this. Probably. Hopefully. Let's make some real pills. A rich medicinal fragrance poured out of the cauldron. The kind of smell that makes your brain wake up and do a little dance. Did I just succeed on the first try? I'm a monster. I couldn't believe it. My first ever attempt at a mid-grade pill, the Chi gathering pill, worth a full spirit stone each, and it worked first try. This is supposed to be hard. Way more ingredients, way tighter temperature control, way less room for error. And I just did it. Like it was nothing. I opened the cauldron lid with trembling hands, and the aroma hit me like a wave. Inside sat 3 perfectly round, smooth, faintly glowing pills. Crystal clear. Flawless. Like little jewels. I grinned so hard my face hurt. Again, I kept refining until evening. 5 total attempts. One exploded because I got cocky and tried cramming extra ingredients in. Classic Ting, getting overconfident and literally blowing things up. After that reality check, I treated every batch with maximum respect. Final count. For successful batches, 13 Chi gathering pills. At 1 spirit stone each. After a quick dinner, I sat cross-legged on my bed and pulled out all 13 pills. Finally, Chi gathering pill freedom. No more rationing. No more budgeting. I can eat these things like candy now. I pop them into my mouth one by one. Like snacking on expensive gummy bears. System panel. Host. Ting Warrior 5-star 26. 55/60ths. Strength. 89 speed. 82 skill points. 16 martial techniques. Wild Blade / 100%. Tyrant Body 75% profession. Level 1 Pill Refiner. 39%. Hold on. What's that 39% next to Pill Refiner? Can I use skill points to level that up too? I've been so obsessed with pill refining lately that I hadn't even opened my stat panel in days. If I hadn't eaten those pills tonight, I might not have noticed I'd gained a whole new profession tag. Let's find out. My current skill points were only 16, all collected from sneaking into the cloud common kitchen and picking up drops from butchered low-level beasts. At my level, those weak creatures only gave skill points anymore. But skill points were skill points. I dumped all 16 points into Pill Refiner. Profession. Level 1 Pill Refiner, 49%. Don't feel any different. Whatever, I'll just refine a few batches and see. 30 minutes later. This. I stared at my hands in complete disbelief. Sitting in my palms were 18 fasting pills. Every single one crystal clear and absolutely perfect. Like diamonds. But that wasn't the shocking part. The shocking part was that I'd just done 2 batches, and both were full batches. 9 pills each. 9 out of 9. Twice in a row. 9 is the maximum. The theoretical limit. Master refiners who've been doing this for decades need luck to hit 9. And I just casually popped out 2 perfect 9s like it was nothing after adding a few skill points. The system didn't just make me a better pill refiner. It made me a pill refining cheat code. I sat there staring at 18 perfect pills in my hands, trying to process the fact that I might be the most broken pill refiner in the history of the 9 provinces continent. I am. Absolutely ridiculous. Here's the thing about achieving a full batch in pill refining. During the melting process, you always lose some material, impurities, wasted energy, inactive components burning off. It's unavoidable. That's why getting 9 pills from one batch is considered the holy grail. Only the most gifted, most experienced master refiners can pull it off. And even they can't do it consistently. And I, a guy who's been refining pills for less than a week, just did it twice in a row. Let me try the chi gathering pills too. 1 hour later. I was not calm. This afternoon, my chi gathering pills were coming out 3 per batch. For if I was lucky. Just now, 6 in one batch, 7 in the next. This is absolutely broken. If I max out my pill refiner skill points, refining body tempering pills would be a piece of cake. Only problem, not enough skill points. Which means, back to Sunset Forest. Next morning, just before dawn, I grabbed my black iron blade and headed out. I left early to avoid the Lee family search teams at the main entrance and took a completely different route this time, a small path in the opposite direction. And guess what the first demon beast I ran into was? A cyan wolf. Again, do you guys have a personal vendetta against me or something? But this time was very different from last time. Last time I was a desperate 3-star warrior rolling through mud and screaming for my life. Now, perfect. Let me test my tyrant body. I grinned and stabbed my black iron blade into the ground. I wasn't going to need it. The cyan wolf didn't care about my dramatic gestures. It roared and launched at me like a furry missile, claws gleaming, aiming straight for my chest. I didn't even flinch, didn't dodge, didn't move, just stood there with the most relaxed expression on my face. Scritch. The wolf's claws raked across my bare chest. My shirt ripped open in a long gash. My skin underneath? Completely fine. Not a scratch, just a faint white line where the claws had scraped across, like someone drew on me with chalk. Huh. Early first-tier beasts can't even hurt me anymore. I rubbed my chest, looking at that shallow white mark with pure excitement. Last time this exact type of wolf nearly killed me. I had to trick it into a mud pit and break its spine with a desperate attack. Now it couldn't even break my skin. My turn. Beast. I blurred forward so fast the wolf couldn't even react. I grabbed it by the neck with one hand. Then, wham, judo threw it straight into the ground. Boom. The earth shook. The wolf bounced like a rag doll, completely dazed. But it was tough. It staggered back up and lunged at me with its jaws wide open. I just smirked. Didn't even rush. I casually raised my right fist and brought it down toward the wolf's skull. The wolf saw death coming and tried to bite my fist in desperation. Too slow. My left hand shot out and clamped its mouth shut like a vice. Jaws pinned. Can't bite. Can't close. And then my right fist came down on its head like a hammer. No sword. No technique. Just bare hands versus a demon beast that used to be my worst nightmare. This is what growth feels like. And it feels incredible. A woo. The cyan wolf howled in agony, the sound echoing through the entire forest. It thrashed its massive body desperately, trying to break free. But the gap between us was just too big. It couldn't do anything. Just lie there and take it. Its eyes were burning with rage and frustration. A proud predator, completely helpless against some random human punching it like a sandbag. And honestly, I was having a great time. Finally had a punching bag to practice on. Every hit landed clean, wind howling behind my fists, blood and fur flying. I actually had to hold back because I didn't want to accidentally kill it in one shot. What a problem to have. But then something weird happened. The wolf stopped fighting. It just lay there, completely still. No struggling, no growling. Just those big eyes staring up at me, looking absolutely pitiful. Like a kicked puppy begging for mercy. Huh. I stopped mid-punch. Was this thing dead? No, still breathing. Playing dead maybe? Hey, quit faking. Get up. I nudged it with my foot. A woo. The cyan wolf slowly, shakily got to its feet. Then it just sat down in front of me, like a dog waiting for orders, looking at me with the most heartbroken expression I'd ever seen on an animal, like a wife who just lost an argument and was sulking about it. What is happening right now? 2 minutes ago this thing was a ferocious man-eating beast trying to rip my face off. Now it was rubbing its head against the hem of my shirt like a house cat wanting belly rubs. I rubbed my eyes. Looked again. Still doing it. The terrifying cyan wolf, the infamous beginner warrior killer of Sunset Forest, was nuzzling me. After thinking about it for a minute, it clicked. I'd beaten it so thoroughly with nothing but my bare fists that it completely submitted. In the demon beast world, physical dominance is everything. By destroying it in pure hand-to-hand combat without even using a weapon, I'd basically proven I was the ultimate alpha predator. And now it was choosing to follow me rather than die. I couldn't help but smile. Strength really is the ultimate truth in this world. When you're strong enough, even your enemies willingly become your servants. What I didn't know at the time was that this was actually a well-known phenomenon among demon beasts. They respect raw physical power above everything else. Fighting a beast with your bare body and winning is the fastest way to earn their loyalty. If I'd used a sword, it would have fought to the death. But fists? That spoke its language. Still, I wasn't about to let my guard down. This was a wild demon beast, not a golden retriever. Who knows when it might turn on me? I'd keep one eye open around this wolf at all times. But having a cyan wolf as a companion in Sunset Forest? That was a pretty nice upgrade from wandering alone with a knife and a vine basket. All right, wolf. You work for me now. Let's see what you can do. System panel check. Host, Cloud Ting Warrior 6-star, 2470, Strength, 92 Speed, 84 Skill Points, 43 Martial Techniques, Wild Blade / 100%, Tyrant Body 75% Profession, Level 1 Pill Refiner 49%, 43 points already. At this rate, 2 more days and I'll have enough to max out my Pill Refiner skill to 100%. By my calculations, I needed about 77 more skill points total, and I'd already collected half. All thanks to my new best friend, the Cyan Wolf. This wolf was an incredible hunting partner. It knew the outer forest like the back of its paw, every beast territory, every hiding spot. Its nose and ears could track down targets from crazy distances. I'd give the orders, and it would lead me straight to the prey. Our strategy was simple. Target groups of early first-tier beasts or lone mid-first-tier beasts. Between the two of us, the outer forest low-level demon beasts were getting absolutely massacred. The experience and skill points per kill were small, but the volume was incredible. Assembly line monster farming. But not everything went according to plan. As the sun was setting, the wolf led me to a cave to camp for the night. Seemed perfect, except the second we approached the entrance, a massive beast came crawling out. An earth savage bear. Late first tier. Just woke up from a nap. Extremely hungry. This thing took one look at me and the wolf and basically saw a buffet. Mouth wide open, it charged straight at me without a moment's hesitation. Now here's the thing. I'd been slaughtering low-level beasts all day. My confidence was at an all-time high. So when I saw this bear, instead of running, I thought, bring it on. A real challenge. 2 power-type fighters in a tight space. Let's go. The bear swung its massive paws trying to grab me. I dodged and slashed with my black iron blade. Back and forth, blow for blow, an intense slugfest between 2 tanks. But reality hit hard. Even though my body could match an 8-star warrior and my strength was pushing 9-star, this late first-tier bear was on a completely different level. My blade could barely scratch its hide, just tiny nicks in the fur. Meanwhile, every time one of its paws connected, the pain was brutal, like getting hit by a furry truck. I couldn't break through its defense. Simple as that. Time to swallow my pride and run. The bear was tough, but slow. I jumped on the cyan wolf's back, and we zigzagged through the trees like maniacs. It took a full 30 minutes of wild running before we finally shook it off. The wolf was so panicked it ran, without any sense of direction, and somehow ended up right at the entrance of the valley where I'd done my tyrant body training last time. Good enough. I guided the wolf inside, cleared a spot under a big tree, and started a fire. Pulled 3 flame chickens out of my storage bag, tossed 2 to the wolf, put 1 over the fire for myself. Well, that was humbling. I thought I could strut around the outer forest like a king, and within 2 days a bear reminded me I'm still a nobody. I shook my head and sighed. Back to growing quietly, I guess. No more getting cocky. The way of laying low is not just a motto, it's a survival strategy. And today's bear-shaped reality check was proof that I still had a long way to go. Next morning, back to hunting. Thanks to the tyrant body's recovery power, yesterday's bear bruises were already healed up. Wolf, take me somewhere with fewer people. Even with the Lee family's searches scaring some warriors away, the outer forest was still crawling with people. In just 2 hours, I'd already bumped into several groups. Every inch of the outer zone had been picked clean 100 times over. Plus, the beasts out here were just too weak now. Early first-tier monsters only gave me skill points, No more attribute gains. But mid-tier and early late-tier beasts? Those would drop skill points and attribute boosts and better herbs. Why settle for scraps when I could have a full meal? As long as I avoided peak first-tier nightmares like that Earth Savage Bear, I'd be fine. I hopped on the cyan wolf, and we headed deeper into the forest. Immediately the difference was obvious. Herbs everywhere. 100-year spirit mushroom. 50-year red ginseng. Jade essence fruits. Jackpot after jackpot. In just a short while I'd collected more herbs than I would have found in days on the outer rim. The quality and quantity were on a completely different level. Coming deeper was the best decision ever. I was happily picking herbs, having the time of my life. When, RLR, a tiger roared so loud it split the sky like thunder. The entire forest shook. Then I watched in horror as rows of trees started toppling over, pushed aside like twigs by some invisible bulldozer. Branches snapping, leaves flying, dust and debris everywhere. It was like a green tornado was ripping through the forest. I stood there completely confused. Then a tall, muscular figure came crashing out of the trees, sprinting straight toward me. His clothes were shredded, blood pouring from multiple wounds. He was a 6-star warrior, and he looked absolutely terrified. Hey you, run. Run now. I tensed up immediately. Whatever was chasing a 6-star warrior hard enough to leave him looking like that was definitely not something to mess around with. I got ready to jump on my wolf and bolt at a moment's notice. Then it appeared. A massive tiger. 20 feet tall, entire body blazing red, radiating pure predatory power, fangs like swords, claws that could tear through steel. The ground trembled with every step. That aura, a late first-tier demon beast, the crimson flame tiger. My first instinct was to run. But then my brain kicked in and excitement took over. This tiger had combat power equal to an 8-star warrior. Incredible strength and speed. A genuine top-tier beast. For me, this was the perfect challenge, dangerous enough to be meaningful, but maybe not impossible. But the real prize wasn't the fight itself. Crimson Flame Tigers had a special ability, a chance to awaken an innate talent called Crimson Flame. This wasn't ordinary fire. It was a powerful beast fire. And beast fire was exactly what I needed for pill refining. Right now I was stuck using cheap carbon crystals like a caveman. With beast fire, I could ditch the crystals entirely, and my refining speed and pill quality would skyrocket. A dangerous fight with incredible rewards, stronger stats, massive skill point drops, and potentially the one thing that could transform my pill refining career. Time to hunt a tiger. So the guy running for his life? Turns out he was Wang Guan, the young master of the Wang family, one of the 2 big families in White Moon City. The same Wang Guan who beat up Li Feng in the street over a sword. A genuine 6-star warrior prodigy. After Li Feng's death shook the city, the Wang family played it safe and recalled all their people from Sunset Forest. But Wang Guan was hungry for opportunities and snuck in anyway, heading to the northern marshlands where nobody would spot him. His luck was terrible, though. He was heading north and somehow ran into a crimson flame tiger that was supposed to be in the eastern lava mountains. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong beast. And to make it worse, Wang Guan's weapon technique was fire-based, the Fire Dragon Spear. Using fire attacks against a fire tiger. Absolutely useless. Couldn't scratch it. So the tiger chased him for over 10 miles. He'd eaten through 20-something stamina pills and a few chi-gathering pills just to keep running. Without those, he'd have been tiger food a long time ago. As he got closer to me, he must have thought I looked like an idiot, standing completely still, staring at the tiger, while my cyan wolf had already ditched me and bolted 50 meters away. Smart wolf. Loyal wolf. Coward wolf. Wang Guan probably figured I was some newbie who'd frozen in fear. This is my fault. I let it right to him, he muttered. Run with me. Brother. He grabbed my arm and tried to pull me along. He might as well have tried to pull a mountain. The guy stumbled and nearly fell over. I didn't budge an inch. You've got some decency in you, at least. I kept my eyes locked on the tiger, a smile creeping across my face. Relax. I've got this. Wang Guan finally got a good look at me. Black robes, short neat hair, a black iron blade in my hand. He said later I looked like some refined scholar. Fair skin, sharp features, the whole handsome gentleman package. Not the type you'd expect to fight a giant fire tiger. But then he sensed my cultivation, 6-star warrior. Same as him. Bro, 2 6-star warriors can't beat that thing. We need to run. Calm down. Step back. Leave this to me. I walked toward the crimson flame tiger with my blade raised and a grin on my face. Wangguan, the crimson flame tiger. If that tiger could talk, it would probably say, "Look at this guy's excited face. Which one of us is supposed to be the beast here? I'm a late first-tier crimson flame tiger. You think some 6-star warrior can take me? Leave this to me. Who do you think you're disrespecting?" Two confused parties. One very excited Cloud Ting walking toward a 20-foot fire tiger like it was Christmas morning. "Let's dance, kitty cat." The crimson flame tiger roared and swung its massive claws at me. I slashed at its head with everything I had. Clang. Its claw blocked my blade like it was swatting a fly. The impact sent me sliding back several meters. Okay, I respect it. Late first tier is no joke. The speed and power are way beyond mid-tier beasts. Even a normal 8-star warrior would struggle with this thing. Time to get serious. Wild blade slash. With tyrant body boosting my strength, I put everything into one massive swing. The blade carved a deep, bloody gash across the tiger's body. It screamed, and then completely lost its mind. It charged me like a freight train on fire. I couldn't dodge in time. Wham! It slammed into me and sent me flying dozens of meters through the air. I smashed through several trees before stopping. Thank God for copper skin iron bones. My chest hurt like crazy, but nothing was broken. A normal warrior would have been paced. I was still catching my breath when I saw it. The tiger's mouth was glowing. A massive ball of red fire was forming between its jaws, getting bigger and bigger. Oh no! Roar! The fireball launched at me like a cannon. I'd barely gotten to my feet, and it was already in my face. No time to dodge. I threw up my black iron blade to block. Boom! The explosion sent me ragdolling through the air. When the smoke cleared, my clothes were shredded, and my black iron blade, the one I'd spent 20 spirit stones on, was melted and warped beyond repair. Completely destroyed. I coughed up blood and wiped my mouth. That power is insane. No time to mourn my wallet, though, because I was staring at the tiger, and it was staring back at me, and it looked exhausted. That fireball was its innate talent ability, Crimson Flame, and using it had drained the beast completely. It was at its weakest right now, and when it saw that I was still standing after taking its strongest attack head-on, fear crept into those fiery eyes. It started backing away. Oh no, you don't. I tossed the ruined black iron blade aside, reached into my storage bag, and pulled out Li Feng's mid-grade magical longsword. I'd been avoiding using it to hide my connection to Li Feng's death, but if this tiger escaped, I'd have lost a weapon and missed the prize. Can't worry about secrecy when a fortune is running away. I charged. The tiger roared and lunged in desperation. I did a clean sidestep flip, dodged its attack completely, then launched myself above its head. One swing of the sword broke through its defenses. The second split its skull clean in two. Boom. The massive tiger body crashed to the ground in a cloud of dust. From a distance, Wangguan was standing there with his jaw on the floor. Who am I? Where am I? What just happened? That was a 6-star warrior's power. Am I dreaming? Someone pinch me. The whole fight had lasted maybe 2 minutes. Wangguan hadn't even finished processing the first exchange before it was already over. I cut the tiger's head open with my sword, and there it was, a red crystal, radiating heat in my palm. A demon core. Now normally, demon beasts only develop cores after reaching 2nd tier. But some rare 1st-tier beasts with powerful bloodlines can awaken innate abilities, and when they do, a core forms in their head. The Crimson Flame Tiger was exactly this kind of beast. The Crimson Flame was born from this core. This crystal in my hand wasn't just a trophy. It was a beast fire source, the exact thing I needed to revolutionize my pill refining. No more cheap carbon crystals. No more amateur hour. One destroyed weapon. One dead tiger. One game-changing fire core. Worth it. Absolutely worth it. System panel check. Host, Cloud Ting level. Warrior 6-star, 25, 49/70ths. Strength 5. 97 speed 3. 87 skill points 50. 93 martial techniques. Wild blade slash 100%. Tyrant body 75% profession. Level 1 pill refiner 49% 50 skill points from 1 kill. The Crimson Flame Tiger's drops were massive, especially those red orbs. Because the tiger had awakened its innate talent, the red skill point orbs were way bigger than normal. I scooped up every last one. I casually pocketed the demon core. Wangguan was staring at it like a hungry dog watching someone eat steak. That core was worth hundreds of spirit stones. But to his credit, the guy didn't show any jealousy. He knew he'd dragged me into his mess, and I'd saved his life. Thank you for saving me, brother. I'm Wangguan of the Wang family in White Moon City. I raised my hand and cut him off. Wangguan, it's a little too early for thank yous. Come on out, you too. I shouted toward the distant tree-line. Wangguan. Two figures emerged from the forest like ghosts, both wearing black robes, faces cold as stone, radiating powerful auras. They moved through the trees like it was flat ground, appearing in front of us in the blink of an eye. One was tall with deep, piercing eyes. The other was shorter but carried an intimidating pressure that made you want to look away. The Li family's Grand Elder? Second Elder? What are you doing here? Wangguan's face went white with shock. And then he noticed something worse. The Grand Elder had broken through to 8-star warrior. The Second Elder was now 7-star. This was a huge deal. On the surface, both the Wang and Li families were evenly matched. 8-star family heads, 7-star Grand Elders, a few 6-star elders below that. After the Li family lost their 5th elder, everyone assumed the Wang family had gained an advantage. Wrong. The Li family's top 2 elders had both leveled up. The balance of power in White Moon City was completely shattered. You followed me. Wangguan's brain was spinning. Then it clicked. Wait, the Crimson Flame Tiger. That thing is supposed to live in the eastern lava mountains. You drove it here to intercept me, didn't you? Why? Why? The Second Elder sneered. What a stupid question. The strong eat the weak. That's how the world works. You're just lucky the tiger didn't finish the job. The Grand Elder spoke next, completely emotionless, like he was discussing the weather. Our families have been equals in White Moon City. Since our young master is dead, it's only fair that your family loses theirs too. The tiger failed, so we'll handle it personally. Don't worry. You won't be lonely on the road to the afterlife. Your father and mother will be joining you soon. You. Wangguan raised a trembling finger at them, but couldn't even finish his sentence. Then the Grand Elder turned away from Wangguan and locked his eyes on me. Boy, that sword in your hand. Isn't that our young master's personal blade? Don't bother lying. I saw that sword with my own eyes. My blood went cold. Li Feng's mid-grade magical sword. The one I'd grabbed from the storage bag because my black iron blade got destroyed. The one I told myself to never use in public. And I'd just used it to kill a tiger in front of the Li family's 2 strongest elders. The Second Elder's eyes widened with realization. Well. We searched for days without a single clue, and today the killer just falls into our lap. Looks like the heavens want you dead, kid. You've been hiding well. Who knows how long you would have stayed hidden if we hadn't stumbled onto you today. So let me recap my situation. I'm standing in the middle of Sunset Forest, holding the murder weapon, next to the Li family's Grand Elder, who's an 8-star warrior, and their Second Elder, who's a 7-star warrior. They want to kill Wangguan for family revenge, and they want to kill me for killing Li Feng. Using that sword was the dumbest decision I've ever made. And I once spilled soda on my computer and got transported to another dimension. Hide? From your Li family's handful of small fry? I don't need to hide from you people. And for the record, I was defending myself. Li Feng came looking for death. That's not my fault. I wasn't about to grovel before these two. One look, and I could tell they were the same type as Li Feng, arrogant, looking down on everyone. No wonder Li Feng was such an insufferable brat. The whole family was rotten from top to bottom. Like father like son, like elder like young master. How dare you? The Second Elder was shaking with rage, finger trembling as he pointed at me. Do you have any idea how important Li Feng was to our family? He was a pill refiner. And you killed him. Big performance. Very dramatic. But here's the thing. The Second Elder didn't actually care about Li Feng that much. Li Feng wasn't his son. In fact, with Li Feng dead, his own son had a better shot at climbing the family ladder. What the Second Elder really cared about was the benefits. See, Li Feng had brought back something incredible from his master, Spirit Rush pills. These were serious pills meant for 10-star warriors trying to break through to the War Spirit realm. One pill gave you a 20% boost in breakthrough probability. For warriors below 9-star though, one pill meant an unconditional breakthrough of 1 whole level. The first pill worked at full power, and each additional pill had half the effect. 4 high-level warriors who'd already exhausted most of their potential These pills were basically miracles. Both elders had taken a spirit rush pill and successfully advanced one level. That's how the Grand Elder reached 8-star and the second Elder hit 7-star. And they paid Li Feng handsomely for the privilege. Li Feng had used those pills to buy their loyalty and support. Smart kid, honestly. If he'd lived and grown as a pill refiner, the benefits to the Li family would have been endless. And I killed their golden goose. All I know, I said, staring them both down, is that my life belongs to me. If someone tries to take my things, they'd better be ready to die for them. Good, good, good. The second elder spat out 3 goods with 0 warmth. His face was dark as a thundercloud. Boy, I don't know if you're fearless or just stupid. Do you have any idea what happens to people who offend the Li family? He drew his sword and stepped toward me. Hold it. The Grand Elder placed his hand on the second elder's shoulder. This kid isn't simple. I'll handle him. You take the Wong boy. Big brother, seriously? This brat who's barely grown his adult teeth? How tough can he? One look from the Grand Elder shut him up instantly. The Grand Elder wasn't being cautious for no reason. They'd watched the tiger fight from a distance, too far to see the details clearly, but the result was undeniable. I'd killed a late first-tier Crimson Flame Tiger. That meant my real strength was far beyond what my 6-star cultivation suggested. He also noticed I was covered in wounds with blood on my face from the tiger fight. He figured I was already injured, which was true. But even so, he wasn't taking any chances. An 8-star elder personally stepping up to fight a 6-star warrior. Smart man. Annoying, but smart. 2-on-2 then. Grand Elder versus me. Second Elder versus Wang Guan. An 8-star warrior and a 7-star warrior against a wounded me and an exhausted Wang Guan. The odds were not in our favor. Die, boy. Mystic Vein Finger. The Grand Elder's voice boomed through the forest like a war drum. Then he shot toward me like an arrow, so fast that even Wang Guan flinched. The second elder split off simultaneously, drawing his sword and lunging at Wang Guan like a venomous snake. But wait, the Grand Elder wasn't using a weapon? Just his bare fists? That was unexpected. I'd been struggling against every opponent who used weapons because, honestly, I'd only been in this world for a month. No background, no martial arts legacy, barely any techniques. When enemies pulled out swords and spears, I was always at a disadvantage. But fist fighting? Now we're speaking my language. I raised my palms and met him head-on. Boom, boom, boom. Our fists and palms collided like thunderclaps, each impact sending shockwaves through the air. We were moving like ghosts, spinning left, dodging right, leaping into the air, diving back down. Blow for blow, strike for strike, neither one of us gaining ground. Not bad, brat. No wonder you're so arrogant, the Grand Elder snarled, but I could hear the shock underneath. Here he was, an 8-star warrior, fighting some 20-year-old kid who was supposedly only 6-star, and he couldn't gain an advantage. He knew that at his old 7-star level, he would have lost. Hey, old man, you yelled Mystic Vein Finger, but you've been throwing punches this whole time. You going senile or what? You don't know anything. Again, Mystic Vein Finger, second form, frustrated that his fists weren't working, he switched from punches to palm strikes, channeling even more power into each blow. But by now I'd already figured him out completely. His raw strength and speed were just barely above a fresh 8-star warrior. Even with the Mystic Vein Finger technique boosting him, he was only approaching 8-star peak at best, and I hadn't even activated my Tyrant Body yet. Alright then, let me show you something. Tyrant Body. The shout exploded through the forest like thunder. My aura erupted outward like a dam bursting, a wave of pure physical power that hit everything around me. Like a sleeping giant had just opened its eyes. The Grand Elder's face went white. What? How can his aura be this strong? Has he been hiding his true cultivation this entire time? The pressure was crushing him. That mountain of confidence he'd walked in with? Gone. Replaced by raw, primal fear. Every instinct in his body was screaming at him to turn and run. But it was too late. We were less than 3 meters apart. At this distance, there was no retreating, no escaping. He was already committed to his attack. All he could do was grit his teeth, pour every last drop of energy into his Mystic Vein Finger, and pray it was enough. Spoiler alert, old man, it wasn't going to be enough. Thud. The Grand Elder's palm, carrying every ounce of power he'd accumulated over his entire life, slammed into my body. I didn't move. Not 1 inch. Like a boulder in a stream. His ultimate attack, his life's work, his full-power mystic vein finger. And it felt like getting poked by an angry grandpa. My palm strike, on the other hand, that one landed. The Grand Elder flew backward like a rag doll, tracing a beautiful arc through the air before crashing into the ground meters away. The earth shook. Then he vomited a fountain of dark red blood that splattered across the dirt. I stood there, didn't even shift my feet. Calm, confident, unmoved. You wanted to trade palm strikes with me? I took a fireball from a crimson flame tiger and walked away. What made you think your little old man hands would do better? You were hiding your strength? Ugh, another mouthful of blood. He tried to stand up, but couldn't. His organs had shifted, his energy channels were shattered. 1 hit. That's all it took. Meanwhile, Wang Guan's fight with the second elder was going badly. Normally, they'd been equal at 6-star, but Wang Guan was already injured from the tiger chase, and the second elder had secretly advanced to 7-star. The math was brutal. Wang Guan started out defensive and held his ground for a while, but blood loss caught up with him. He slipped up, took a sword through the shoulder, then got kicked across the ground. Ha! Wang boy, let's see you escape this. The second elder stood over Wang Guan, dripping with smugness. You Li family scum. You'll all die horrible deaths. Wang Guan was lying in the dirt, furious but helpless. He couldn't fight. He couldn't even get word back to his family about the Li family's treachery. Was this really how he died? Then boom. Both of them turned to look. The second elder's jaw hit the floor. The Grand Elder, an 8-star warrior, was lying in a pool of his own blood, defeated by a single palm strike from some random kid. The second elder's brain short-circuited. His confident expression crumbled into pure panic. He started calculating fast. If word gets out about this assassination attempt, and Big Brother is clearly finished, I need to get back and warn the family head. I need to run. Wang Guan saw the retreat in the second elder's eyes and immediately forced himself up to block him. Injured or not, he could at least stall. As for me, I looked at the Grand Elder on the ground, made my decision, and brought my palm down on his skull. Crack. Done. Permanently. I won't describe the details. Just know that the Grand Elder of the Li family would not be attending any more family meetings. Then I sprinted toward Wang Guan and the second elder. The second elder saw me coming and the color drained from his face completely. He's coming this way, yeah? Yeah, I am. Your turn, old man. The second elder was panicking. I was sprinting toward him and Wang Guan was stuck to him like glue, blocking every escape route. Wang Guan, move aside if you want to live. The second elder was screaming, desperately trying to shake him off. He gathered everything he had and unleashed his breeze sword technique with maximum power. The sword light slammed into Wang Guan's spear so hard it nearly knocked the weapon right out of his hands. Wang Guan stumbled back a step, too injured to absorb that kind of hit cleanly. Now, the second elder was a veteran fighter with razor-sharp instincts. The instant Wang Guan staggered, he spun around to bolt. Too bad for him. I was already right there. Running? Not happening. I swung my palm at him without a second thought. I'll fight you to the death. The second elder put on his bravest face. Very heroic. Very dramatic. But his hand was reaching into his robe and pulling out a yellow talisman. Not exactly a fight to the death move. Go. White light enveloped his entire body. And then, poof. He vanished. Just completely gone. No. A teleportation talisman. Wang Guan shouted in shock. What now? I've only ever heard of them. It supposedly teleports the user 1,000 meters away in a random direction. Extremely rare, life-saving treasure. But it's a gamble. If you teleport into a demon beast's nest or off a cliff, you're dead anyway. It's pure luck. Well, I said, looking around at the beast-infested forest stretching in every direction. In a forest full of demon beasts, there's a decent chance he just teleported straight into something's dinner table. That made both of us chuckle. Probably shouldn't have. An enemy escaping was bad news. But picturing the second elder popping into existence right on top of a sleeping earth savage bear was just too funny. Wang Guan straightened up and bowed deeply despite his injuries. Thank you for saving my life, brother. I'm Wang Guan of the Wang family in White Moon City. May I know your name? Just call me Cloud Ting. Brother Cloud. I will never forget this debt. Wherever you need me, whatever you need done, as long as it's within my power, I won't refuse. Don't worry about it. It's nothing major. Besides, I already had beef with the Lee family anyway. Wang Guan's expression turned serious. Brother Cloud, the Lee family's conspiracy runs deep. I need to get back to my family immediately and tell my father everything, especially about the elders' secret breakthroughs. This is urgent. Would you be willing to come with me? Together we could face the Lee family's retaliation. I thought about it for a second and shook my head. You go ahead. I want to keep training out here for a while. I'll pass on heading back. Truth was, I had a forest full of demon beasts to hunt, skill points to collect, and a pill refining profession to max out. Lee family drama could wait. All right then, Brother Cloud. Until we meet again. Farewell. And off he went, limping, bleeding, but alive. Thanks to me. Now then, where were those attribute orbs from the Grand Elder? Can't let those go to waste. I watched Wang Guan disappear into the trees, then turned back toward the Grand Elder's body. AWO, my cyan wolf came bounding out of the bushes, tail wagging, rubbing its head against my leg like nothing happened. Oh, now you show up. You're even better at laying low than I am. The second you saw those two elders, you vanished faster than my dignity at a job interview. Couldn't really blame it, though. A cyan wolf against 7 and 8-star warriors? That's not bravery, that's suicide. I walked over to the body, scooped up all the attribute orbs and experience spheres, then reached into the Grand Elder's robes with practiced hands and pulled out a storage bag. After checking there was nothing else left, I looked at my wolf. The body's yours. The cyan wolf had been drooling while waiting. See, demon beasts can eat human warrior corpses to strengthen themselves, just like humans eat beast meat for cultivation benefits. An 8-star warrior's body was a feast. After digesting this, the wolf would probably break through to mid-first tier for sure. I did not want to watch that. I found a big tree and sat down. But I didn't waste time. I went back to harvest the crimson flame tiger carcass, tiger skin, tiger bones, tiger claws. All premium materials worth serious money. System panel, host, cloud, Ting level. Warriors 6-star 18, 67/70ths, strength 2, 99 speed 2, 89 skill points 23, 116 martial techniques. Wild blade / 100%, tyrant body 75% profession. Level 1 pill refiner 49%. Now we're talking. 116 skill points. Use skill points. Level 1 pill refiner 1, 1, 1. Profession, level 1 pill refiner, 100%. 77 points spent. Maxed out. Huh. Now refining body tempering pills should be no problem. And once I have those, I can train Tyrant Body to level 3. Perfect. Now let's see what the Grand Elder was carrying. His storage bag was bigger than Li Feng's, 8 cubic meters. Nice upgrade. But the contents? Disappointing. Only about 30 spirit stones. Turns out the old man had spent most of his savings buying that spirit rush pill. No wonder he looked poor. A few low-grade magical weapons, some scattered pill bottles, and several martial arts manuals. I pulled them out and started flipping through. Diamond Palm. Yellow tier lower grade. Boring. Breeze sword technique. Already have one. Trash. Water fire staff technique. Yellow tier lower grade again. Pass. Mystic vein finger. Wait. Mystic tier? Lower grade? Now that's what I'm talking about. My first ever mystic tier technique. I started reading immediately. The mystic vein finger was way more complex than I expected. Despite the name, it actually combined 3 fighting styles: fist, palm, and finger. You had to master them in order. Level 1, Iron Fist. Punch refined iron daily while channeling spiritual energy into your fists, using medicine to assist. Your hands swell up like balloons until your fists turn ink black. Then it's complete. Level 2, Mystic Jade Palm. Submerge your hands in mystic iron ore and use spiritual energy to melt it around them. Train until your palms become smooth as jade. Once both levels are done, your hands become as hard as magical weapons, capable of crushing metal and shattering stone. Level 3, the actual mystic vein finger. Channel spiritual energy through your arm meridians and shoot it from your fingertips as ranged attacks. But this requires War Spirit 3-star cultivation to handle the energy pressure. At full mastery, your hands return to normal appearance. Here's the good news though, Body cultivators skip all the annoying preparation steps. If your physical body reaches warrior peak level, you can train the complete mystic vein finger directly. Close range, indestructible fists and palms. Long range, energy blasts from your fingertips. It was the perfect all-rounder combat technique. This is perfect for me. Combined with my tyrant body, this is an absolute dream match. The plan was crystal clear now. Refine body tempering pills with my maxed out pill refining skill. Take the pills. Train tyrant body to level 3. Then learn the complete mystic vein finger. Today was a very good day. Killed an 8-star elder, got a mystic tier technique, maxed out my pill refining, and my wolf got an all-you-can-eat buffet. The Leaf family just keeps on giving, even after they're dead. Still plenty of daylight left, so I called the cyan wolf and headed deeper into the forest. Sunlight filtered through the leaves like golden threads dancing on the ground. Pretty scenic, actually. The wolf trotted beside me, occasionally pawing at the dirt, still digesting its massive meal of Grand Elder and Crimson Flame Tiger. In a day or two it should break through to mid-first tier. Not bad for a wolf that was cowering in bushes just hours ago. I hunted as I walked, picking herbs with one hand, punching demon beasts with the other. Boom. One hit from my fist, and a mid-first tier four-armed demon ape dropped dead. The sound echoed through the whole valley. Apparently, that sound attracted some unwanted attention. Boss, look, fresh meat. Some rat-faced guy hiding in the trees spotted me and frantically waved to a big man behind him. He's even riding a cyan wolf. Probably some rich family's spoiled brat out here looking for thrills. Ha. The leader stroked his chin, eyes spinning with greed. These lovely gentlemen were members of the infamous Skull Mercenary Company, the biggest gang of forest bandits in the area. The leader was Zhu Meng, captain of their second squad, an 8-star warrior. The Skull Mercenaries were serious business. Their two commanders were both war spirit level. That's an entire realm above warrior. They had 3 squad captains and hundreds of members. Even small noble families didn't dare mess with them. They survived by hunting beasts, stealing resources, and robbing warriors in the forest. Basically organized bandits with a fancy name. Of course, they were smart enough not to touch major families or cities. Afraid of getting wiped out by real military forces. Classic bullies, tough against the weak, cowards against the strong. Boss, this kid's only a 6-star warrior. The rat-faced guy made a throat-slitting gesture. Hold on. If a family can tame a cyan wolf as a mount for their junior, they've got to have real power behind them. Maybe even a war spirit level expert. If we mess with the wrong people, come on, boss. We've done this 100 times. The kid's alone in the middle of nowhere. We do it clean, leave no traces, nobody ever knows. Easy. Zhu Ming's hesitation melted away. You're right. I'm overthinking it. A 6-star warrior can't make any waves. Meanwhile, I just finished collecting the demon ape's drops and was about to harvest its 4 massive arms. Premium crafting materials. Couldn't let those go to waste. Then my wolf started growling at the tree lean, baring its teeth, shifting into combat stance. I dropped what I was doing and instantly went on full alert, scanning my surroundings. Within seconds, over a dozen men walked out from the trees on all sides. They formed a circle around me, swords drawn, ugly grins on their faces. Well, obviously they weren't here to invite me to a tea party. More bandits. Again, is there some kind of Rob Cloud Ting sign floating above my head that I can't see? First day in this world, bandits. Now, deep in the forest, more bandits. At this point, getting ambushed by thugs was basically my weekly routine. The difference was, the first time, I was a terrified mortal in a messy jersey hiding in a bush. This time, I just killed an 8-star elder with one palm strike and punched a demon ape to death with my bare fist. Come on then, boys. Let's see how this goes. Gentlemen, what's all this about? I gave the leader my coldest stare. Young friend. No need to worry, we mean no harm. I'm Zhu Meng. Seeing someone so young brave enough to explore Sunset Forest alone and kill a 4-armed demon ape single-handedly. I'm truly impressed. I just wanted to get acquainted. Which family are you from, young brother? Very smooth. Very friendly. Completely fake. I've watched enough TV dramas to know that 15 guys surrounding you in a circle is not a friendship ritual. I'm Wang Guan, from the Wang family of White Moon City. Might as well borrow Wang Guan's name and see if it scared them off. The rat-faced lackey immediately whispered in Zhu Meng's ear. Boss, the Wang family? That's just a small-time clan. His dad Wang Tianxi is only an 8-star warrior. Don't bother talking. Let's just take him. Zhu Meng gave a subtle nod. Go ahead. Rat-Face stepped forward, puffing up his chest like he owned the forest. Listen here, kid. We're the Skull Mercenary Company. If you know what's good for you, hand over everything you've got. Say no, and I'll show you why flowers are red. Oh, Skull Mercenary Company. Well, brothers, I came in a hurry and didn't really bring much money. Cut the crap. Hand it over now. No money? Then strip. Give us your clothes too. And that cyan wolf, that belongs to my boss now. Behave, and maybe we'll let you live. These scumbags had a twisted little game. They'd toy with their victims first, give them a sliver of hope, then kill them anyway. Watching the despair and disbelief in a dying person's eyes was their entertainment. Even my clothes? You want me to run through the forest naked? I was smiling on the outside. On the inside, I was cursing their ancestors back 18 generations. Yes, of course, I'll hand everything over. I bowed my head like I was reaching for my valuables. And in that split second, the magical long sword appeared in my hand. One flash of steel. Rat-Face's head went one direction. His body went the other. You've got nerve, boy. You actually dare fight back? Zhu Meng was genuinely shocked. Every other victim he'd encountered just dropped to their knees begging for mercy the moment they heard Skull Mercenary Company. And this 6-star kid just decapitated one of his men? Ghost 3, he's yours. Show this brat what happens when you cross our Skull Mercenary Company. Yes, boss. Zhu Meng's massive frame stepped back, and from behind him emerged the most hideous human being I had ever seen in either of my lives. His face looked like God had assembled it blindfolded using spare parts from a junk drawer. Eyes crooked and drooping like two uneven slits. Nose flat and formless, just sort of existing on his face without purpose. And his mouth, enormous, could probably swallow a fist whole, corners turned down in a permanent snarl. The whole face looked like someone had crumpled up a piece of paper and tried to smooth it back out. Badly. Whoa, a ghost. You're so ugly you could scare actual demons. Why would you go outside looking like that? Probably not the smartest thing to say to an angry mercenary who was about to try to kill me. But honestly, my mouth has a mind of its own sometimes. Ghost 3, real name Lin Hai, third born in his family. Got his nickname because his face looked like something that haunts you at 3 a.m. But ugly as he was, the guy was no joke. A 6-star warrior, one of Zhu Meng's top fighters. You're dead, kid. He was furious about the ugly comment. He unwound a meteor hammer from his waist, leaped into the air with a fancy flip, and brought it crashing down at me. I sidestepped it like it was moving in slow motion. Come on, ugly. That all you got? I held up my sword and pretended to struggle, backing away like I was losing. Ghost 3 bought it completely. His attacks got wilder and more aggressive. He launched the meteor hammer straight at my chest with a move called Black Python Strikes. I caught the hammerhead with one hand. Mid-flight. What? Ghost 3's eyes nearly popped out of his already crooked face. Meteor hammer users are supposed to have insane arm strength, and the flying hammer carries devastating momentum. Getting it caught barehanded by someone at the same level? Impossible. Come here. I wrapped the chain around my hand and yanked. Ghost 3 came flying toward me from several meters away like a fish on a line. The second he was in range, one kick to the torso. He launched into the air, blood spraying from his mouth before he even landed. He hit the ground, coughed up more blood mixed with bits of internal organs, twitched twice. Dead. How dare you? Zhu Meng's eyes went red with rage. Everyone attack. Kill him. Zhu Meng had brought 14 men today. 2 6-star warriors. Well, 1 now, and the rest were 3 and 4-star small fry. They'd come out for an easy shakedown, and in half a day they'd already lost a 6-star fighter. All of them started closing in on me, weapons drawn. Fine by me. As long as Zhu Meng himself stayed back, I had the perfect chance to wipe out his entire squad first. I didn't wait for them to attack. I grabbed my sword and blitzed the 3 closest goons before they could even blink. Dead, dead, dead. The remaining 6-star warrior tried to sneak attack me from behind with an overhead chop. I ducked under it, reversed my grip, and thrust my sword backward through his chest. Didn't even need to turn around. You were hiding your strength. Finally, the light bulb went on in Zhu Ming's thick skull. He'd kicked an iron wall today. No wonder I'd been so calm from the start. He watched his men dropping one after another and realized, if he didn't step in now, he'd have no men left. He charged at me with his massive blade aimed at my head. An 8-star warrior's full power strike. A month ago, that would have terrified me. Today, an 8-star warrior was barely worth my attention. The only reason I'd been toying with his underlings was to make sure none of them escaped. If I'd gone all out from the start, Zhu Ming would have fled immediately. You want to die? I'll help with that. My voice hit like thunder. I flicked my sword up and deflected his attack like it was nothing. Just casually redirected all that killing intent into empty air. Then I threw my fist at him. A real punch. Full power. The air compressed into a visible shockwave rolling toward him like a wall of force. Zhu Ming's heart nearly stopped. He could feel it, the terrifying, overwhelming, absolutely crushing power behind that single punch. Like the sky was falling on him. The look on his face was priceless. Pure, undiluted regret. The universal expression of a bully who just realized he picked the wrong target. Should have stuck to robbing 3-star warriors, Zhu Ming. Should have stuck to robbing 3-star warriors. My fist connected square with Zhu Ming's chest. Clang. The sound of metal. This sneaky bastard was wearing armor under his clothes. It absorbed at least half the impact, but half of my punch was still more than enough. Zhu Ming tumbled across the ground like a rolling log and couldn't get back up. That punch was actually my debut of the Mystic Vein Finger, first level, Iron Fist. Thanks to my Tyrant Body Foundation, I'd learned the basic moves in just half a day. Still a bit rough around the edges, but the power? Leagues beyond my old bare fist attacks. With Zhu Ming down, the rest were just sheep waiting to be slaughtered. My combat power was pushing close to 10-star. These 3- and 4-star goons. Less than a minute. My wolf patrolled the perimeter, making sure nobody escaped. In under 60 seconds, every single mercenary except Zhu Ming was dead on the ground. Please. Mercy. Spare me, little brother. I'll give you everything I own. My big brother is the Skull Mercenary Company's first squad captain. He's a 10-star warrior. And our commanders are war spirit level. You don't want to make enemies of us. Killing me won't do you any good. Please. He was groveling, begging, throwing out every name and threat he could think of all the people you could have robbed. You had to come deliver free experience to me. I shrugged. I didn't ask for this. You brought it on yourself. I'm honestly just as confused as you are. One sword swing. Head off. Done. I scooped up all the transparent orbs, dozens of them scattered across the battlefield, and cleaned out Zhu Ming's belongings without even checking what I got. No time for inventory. This many dead bodies meant a lot of blood, and blood attracts beasts. If a second-tier demon beast caught a whiff of this massacre, I'd be in real trouble. I jumped on the cyan wolf and raced back to my valley hideout. Ugh, I smell like a slaughterhouse. After multiple fights in one day, Crimson Flame Tiger, Li family elders, and a bandit squad, my clothes were destroyed, soaked in blood, and sticking to my skin. As a guy from southern China who showered every single day back home, this was unbearable. Splash. I stripped down, dove into the lake with a beautiful arc, and took the most satisfying bath of my entire second life. Even caught a few big fish while I was in there. Multitasking at its finest. Ah, heaven. I pulled a fresh set of clothes from my storage bag, got dressed, started a fire, and grilled the fish. Only after eating did I finally sit down to sort through today's loot. First, Zhu Ming's storage bag. Same size as the Grand Elders, about 8 cubic meters. But the contents? Night and day difference. Compared to Zhu Ming, the Li family Grand Elder was basically a homeless man. They were right. Murder and arson really do lead to gold belts. Bandits are loaded. 341 spirit stones. 12 bottles of chi gathering pills. Dozens of bottles of other pills. 133 herb stocks. A mountain of demon beast materials. Some mysterious token with the character, Xian, engraved on it. No idea what that was for. And finally, a mid-grade magical armor vest. Probably stolen from some poor warrior Zhu Ming robbed in the past. A little wash and it's good as new. I wasn't picky. The armor was covered in Zhu Ming's blood, so I scrubbed it clean in the lake and put it on. Let's see. In one day, I'd killed a Crimson Flame Tiger, an 8-star Li family elder, and an 8-star bandit captain. Total haul, hundreds of spirit stones, bottles of pills, a beast fire core, a mystic tier technique, magical armor, and enough herbs to start my own pharmacy. Being the protagonist is exhausting, but very, very profitable. System panel check. Host, Cloud, Ting level. Warrior 7-star, 31 out of 80. Strength, 104 speed, 95 skill points, 62 martial techniques. Wild Blade Slash 100%, Tyrant Body 75%, Mystic Vein Finger 35% Profession. Level 1 Pill Refiner 100% 7-star. My strength had broken past 100. I was officially in a completely different league from where I started. Time to refine some body tempering pills and finish the Tyrant Body scripture once and for all. But first, the Crimson Flame Tiger's Demon Core. I pulled it out of my storage bag and stared at the glowing red crystal in my palm. Once I absorbed this beast fire, I'd never need cheap carbon crystals again. My pill refining speed and quality would skyrocket. I sat cross-legged, held the core in both hands, and steadied my breathing. Then, crack, I split the core open with a palm strike. A brilliant red flame burst out like a tiny phoenix being born. Without hesitation, I activated Tyrant Body, grabbed the flame with my bare hand, and swallowed it. The fire slid down my throat and landed in my energy center like a molten coal. My face turned beet red. Heat radiated from my entire body. Even with Tyrant Body protecting me, my internal organs felt like they were being slow roasted from the inside. Listen here, little flame. I killed the tiger you came from. You think you can resist me? Submit. I don't know how long it took. Could have been minutes, could have been an hour. But eventually the burning eased. My clenched expression relaxed. My face returned to normal. I flipped my palm open and there it was, a beautiful crimson flame dancing in my hand, perfectly obedient. Phew, that was close. Good thing I trained Tyrant Body first. Otherwise it would have been a question of who was absorbing who. What I didn't know was that normally, absorbing beast fire requires a war spirit level expert to seal the flames with spiritual energy so it doesn't burn your organs to ash. No regular warrior's body can handle beast fire without that protection. I'd essentially done something supposedly impossible, solo absorbed a beast fire as a mere warrior, purely because my body cultivation had already toughened my insides enough to survive. Lucky doesn't even begin to cover it. My shirt. My celebration was cut short when I looked down and realized the heat had burned away my entire upper body clothing. All that was left was the armor vest hanging on my bare chest. Whatever. Nobody's watching. Time for the main event. I waved my hand, and a pile of herbs appeared from the storage bag, everything needed for body tempering pills. The star ingredient was the blood ginseng, still sitting safely in its jade box. The piece I'd nearly died over thanks to Li Feng. I only had one blood ginseng, but it was large enough for multiple batches. I carefully cut off one portion with a special jade knife and stored the rest for refining yuan cultivation pills later. I'd been collecting those ingredients too. With my pill refiner skill maxed at 100%, I was fully confident. One batch of materials. One shot. That's all I needed. Everything was ready. I called forth the crimson flame and gently heated the cauldron, so much smoother than those clunky carbon crystals. The temperature control was precise and effortless. I added the herbs one by one with extreme care. First time refining a first-grade upper-tier pill. My hands were slightly shaky. This was the most complex formula I'd ever attempted, so I took it slow. No rushing, no shortcuts. Step by step. 30 minutes to melt all the herbs into medicinal liquid. Then I formed the condensation hand seal. A few minutes later, a rich, powerful fragrance poured out of the cauldron. The kind of smell that made your whole body tingle with energy. I did it. Body tempering pills. Successfully refined. I killed the flame, opened the cauldron lid, and gently tipped it over. 9 pills rolled out into my hand. 9. Full batch. Again. So basically, any first-grade pill I make now comes out as a perfect full batch. Every single time. 9 round, flawless, ruby-colored body tempering pills sat in my palm like precious pearls. Each one glowed with a faint medicinal light, radiating vitality and power. From soda-spilling college kid to max-level pill refiner producing perfect batches of upper-grade pills in a forest valley. With a stolen cauldron, a dead man's herbs, and a fire I ripped out of a tiger's skull. Now, time to eat these pills and finish what I started. Tyrant body, final level. Here I come. I couldn't wait to eat these body tempering pills. The final level of the tyrant body scripture, golden body, didn't require soaking in a bucket of herb soup this time. Just swallow the pills and cultivate directly. No cooking pot bath. Progress. I popped the first pill. Gulp. Within seconds, my body started reacting. A tingling pain crept through me, my energy channels began squirming under my skin, and sweat poured out of every pore. I immediately started running the tyrant body technique to push through. MNGH. The pain kept building. All I could do was grit my teeth and use the cultivation method to numb myself. Gradually, my body adapted. System check. Tyrant body 90%. The pills wearing off. I popped the second one. Pain came flooding back. This time something new happened. Black threads started oozing out of my skin, from every single pore, like tiny dark worms crawling to the surface. That was all the impurities being expelled from my body. Years of accumulated toxins and waste being forced out by the tyrant body's final level purification. It was disgusting, but also kind of beautiful in a way, like my body was being reforged from the inside out, a rough stone being carved into jade. But the purification was only half of what the final level did. The other half was even more incredible. It was widening my energy channels. These channels are like highways inside your body where spiritual energy flows. The wider they are, the more energy you can absorb and use. The tyrant body was basically expanding every highway from a 2-lane road into a 6-lane expressway. I could physically feel the difference. Spiritual energy that used to trickle through my body was now flowing like a rushing river. This wasn't just making me tougher. It was upgrading my entire potential as a cultivator. 10 minutes later, second pill consumed. Tyrant body, 95%. The black gunk on my skin was getting thicker. Third pill down. The pain wasn't as bad anymore. My body was getting used to it. 10 minutes passed. 98%. Then, nothing. It stopped moving. So close but stuck. One pill at a time isn't cutting it anymore. I threw 2 pills into my mouth at once. The pain came roaring back. Veins bulging across my face. Teeth clenched so hard they might crack. My entire body felt like it was about to split open, but there was also this invisible barrier holding everything together, like being squeezed and stretched at the same time. 99%. Stuck again. Come on. I made a decision. Threw a 5th pill into my mouth. 3 pills worth of medicinal power flooding through me simultaneously. My skin started seeping blood. Not sweat, not black gunk, actual blood leaking through my pores. 5 body tempering pills, each worth 100 spirit stones. I'd just eaten 500 spirit stones worth of medicine in 15 minutes, and my body was either going to break through or break apart. AHHH, I screamed with everything I had. A flash of golden light exploded from my body. A massive wave of power erupted outward from every cell. Golden body tyrant, complete. 5 pills consumed. 500 spirit stones worth of pain. Black impurities purged. Energy channels expanded. Body reforged. The final level of the tyrant body scripture. Done. The technique that most warriors were too scared, too poor, or too weak to even attempt. And I'd completed the whole thing in less than a week. 4 remaining body tempering pills in my pocket. An indestructible golden body on my frame. Ting, the college kid who got electrocuted by soda water, was now walking around in a body that could probably stop swords with its bare skin. What a time to be alive. In both worlds, the power surging through me was unreal. I felt like I could punch a mountain in half. Okay, maybe that was a slight exaggeration, but the point stood. Below the war spirit realm, nobody could beat me in pure physical combat anymore. Nobody. System panel. Host. Ting level. Warrior 7-star. 53 out of 80. Strength. 118 speed. 106 skill points. 62 martial techniques. Wild blade slash 100%. Tyrant body 100%. Mystic vein finger 35% profession. Level 1 pill refiner 100%. The tyrant body completion boosted everything. Strength, speed, even my experience jumped up as a bonus. My stats were absolutely ridiculous for a 7-star warrior. Oops. I accidentally became unbeatable among my peers. Used 6 body tempering pills total, 3 left over. Thank God I maxed my pill refining skill first. If I'd only made 5 pills instead of 9, I'd be stuck at 99% pulling my hair out right now. Then I noticed the smell. Oh God, what I est that? It's like I fell into a sewer, right? The black impurity sludge. It was caked all over me, absolutely reeking. Even my cyan wolf, the beast that happily ate raw human corpses, had retreated to a safe distance with a disgusted look on its face. I just took a bath. And now I need another one. Splash. Back into the lake. Ah, much better. Wait, am I taller again? The moment I put on clothes, I could tell. The body purification had made me grow even more, and my muscles looked leaner and more defined. 2 days later. Sunset Forest. I'd been on an absolute rampage. Regular mid-first tier beasts couldn't satisfy me anymore. I pushed deeper and deeper into the forest, surrounded by rare herbs and endless demon beasts. I flicked my finger, and a burst of energy punched clean through a demon beast's skull. That was kill number 22 today. My level had shot up to Warrior 9-star, 82 out of 100. Almost at 10-star. In these 2 days I'd fully mastered the Mystic Vein Finger with skill points, and learned the Breeze sword technique from the Leaf family too. Long-range finger blasts, close-range fist combat, elegant sword work, I had it all now. I harvested the beast materials with practiced hands and tossed the leftover flesh to my wolf. Speaking of which, the cyan wolf had reached peak mid-first tier in just a few days. No surprise there. When you're eating late-tier demon beast meat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, even a pig would power up. Time to head back. All 3 storage bags are nearly full. Need to sell everything and resupply. I hopped onto the wolf's back, and we turned toward White Moon City. But just as we started moving, boom, a deafening explosion like 1,000 thunderbolts detonating at once. The sound ripped through the entire forest with terrifying force, echoing off every tree and cliff face. The entire mountain shook. The ground trembled beneath us like it was about to crack open. Ancient trees swayed violently, branches snapping, leaves raining down everywhere. I grabbed fistfuls of the wolf's mane and held on tight, trying not to get thrown off. Whatever just happened out there, it was something way above my pay grade. The kind of power that makes 9-star warriors feel like ants. Stay low? Or go investigate. Who am I kidding? I was definitely going to investigate. What is happening? The earthquake lasted only a few seconds, but that thunderous booming sound was getting closer. Fast. Something absolutely terrifying was heading this way. Then I saw the forest around me erupt into pure chaos. Every demon beast in the area, the ones that usually strut around like they own the place, were fleeing in blind panic, crashing through trees, trampling everything, running for their lives. And then I spotted something that made my blood run cold. 2 second-tier demon beasts, the kings of this part of the forest, were running with the pack. These things were supposed to be apex predators, afraid of nothing. And they were sprinting like terrified rabbits. When the bosses are running, you run. Wolf, go, go, go. We need to get out of here. Now, the cyan wolf didn't need to be told twice. It howled and launched forward at full speed, kicking up a trail of dust behind us. Boom. Another explosion, this one so close it felt like it went off right next to my ear. A shock wave of air slammed into us and flipped the wolf over completely. We both went tumbling across the ground. I shook my head, staggered to my feet, and looked toward the source of the noise. Several hundred meters away, in the sky, a massive creature that looked like a dragon straight out of Western mythology was thrashing through the air, its enormous wings generating hurricane-force winds with every beat. Its thick tail whipped around like a living weapon, and it was breathing fire, spraying torrents of flame and deadly energy blasts at something in front of it. And that something? A person. A human figure dancing through the sky like a graceful phantom, dodging the dragon's attacks with impossible agility, weaving, spinning, rolling through the air like gravity didn't apply to them. A War King level expert. My eyes nearly fell out of my head. In this world, only warriors who've reached the War King realm can actually fly. That's 4 entire realms above me. Warrior, War Spirit, War Master, War General, War King. The gap between us was like comparing an ant to a jet fighter. But I did not have time to sit here and admire the show. The shockwaves from their battle alone carried enough destructive force to vaporize me 10 times over. One stray blast in my direction, and I'd be a red smear on the landscape. Run. Run now. This was not my fight. This was not my league. This was not even my planet of power level. I called the wolf and was about to bolt when, because of course, the dragon smashed its tail into the War King fighter and sent them flying. Straight toward me. Boom. A black shadow streaked over my head and cratered into the ground right in front of me. A War King level expert just fell out of the sky and landed at my feet. Of all the places in this enormous forest, hundreds of miles of trees and mountains, this person crash-landed right in front of Cloud Ting. The universe has a very specific sense of humor, and it is entirely at my expense.